As usual, guys, with these calls, don't have a particular direction, just really allowing for folks to just get on. Generally speaking, me personally, I just go over a lot of the things that I'm generally dealing with right now and what I'm hearing from people. And, it's amazing in some senses how many of us men, I guess, and women too, that are constantly dealing with the same issues over and over in relationships and marriages, at work, business, and the various other, entities and things that we have to deal with on a daily basis. That, for me, I find that just having a little extra space here and there, even if it's not extensive, for us to talk and have questions for each other and, you know what I'm saying, an interface is definitely important. Because as a coach, I talk to a lot of guys and women too who in many cases are literally just don't have anybody to talk to on a high level, where the people who they talk to for the most part, they're not really giving them great advice. And because that's how it usually is these days. People tell you what they're doing and they expect for what them to do, they're doing to work for you when that's not always the case at all. So a lot of us men, man, we just find ourselves in situations where people are trying to tell us to do things and it really isn't like it doesn't resonate with your soul. And of course, sometimes when you're young and they tell you to go to school and all those different things, it makes sense for a little while until you try to figure out what it is that you really want. But at some point, life is about having people around you who are going to actually support who you are and what you're becoming versus just doing stuff to be doing stuff. So, you know, it's all about these aspects of self that really, really matters the most. And, I'm just always trying to do my best to help folks and create space myself where others can feel comfortable, even if you don't work with me one-on-one on particular coaching sessions or whatnot, just really kind of get an opportunity to talk and interface. And if I can, inspire you in some ways or answer some questions or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, then I definitely do that on these sessions, these community live sessions, man. So it's already February, about to be March. And for the most part, shoot, it's 3 months down already. So a lot of people that I'm talking to these days and working with, it's really about, looking at your life and looking at the year, looking at the time as it goes by, and, making sure that you are making good use of what you have and, really striving towards your goals. I don't know if you guys believe in any particular New Year's resolution or what have you, but, we all should have things that we're striving towards. And sometimes, the discipline, for the most part, the discipline that you need to really carry you from one goal to the next, the consistency, the work ethic, all these different things. Like, it's March now, it's about to be spring. You're like, your summer goals are literally right upon you. You know what I mean? Pardon me as I drink some water, family. And so, for the most part, getting goals aligned, making sure that you're really staying up on what it is that you need to be staying up on. And, you're really being challenged and you have the inputs in your life that are going to help you get there. So, I didn't do one of these community support calls last month. I think the last one we had was in December sometime. And definitely wanted to do this, especially with all I got going on. I got the men's wellness club, guys, for you guys who are looking for supplementation and different ideas on how to better take care of yourself. I got 3 herbs for men, and we're constantly expanding. And we're also coming out with some ones for women as well, too. So kind of get the balance going on. I got 3 different herbs, and it starts off at $45 a month, but all the herbs are delivered to you monthly. You get the opportunity to have 1, 2, or even 3 different herbs in the subscription per month. And trust me, guys, anybody who's been seeing it or hearing about it, man, these are top of the line herbs, and we're going to be doing some really, really great things in regards to bringing you products that actually help enhance your masculinity. Like, literally, this is what this stuff does, especially anybody who right now who, if you're not having sex, or even if you are, if you are, this stuff is really going to turn your sex drive up in many cases. But if you're not, it's help you cleanse the organs and prepare for having children in the future, these different things, and I think it's important for a lot of men too, to understand that, if you're ever in a break or on a break, if you're ever at a place in your life where you're really looking at your life's purpose and trying to focus, like, you have to eat good, man. You really do. Like you're not really going to get to the top of the level of your game with poor nutrition. And let's just be real, man, most of the food out here is crap. So, I've been bringing a lot of information about stuff that we got to be doing to boost our testosterone levels, have good hormone balance within the system, the different things that it does, taking care of the prostate, increasing testosterone levels, even, increasing sperm count, sperm motility for people who are trying to reproduce. The one that I have called the seed cleaner, trust me, man, that's what it is for anybody who doesn't have children or looking to have children, just really helping you in that department. Testosterone, it deals with the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, because a lot of guys don't understand this. Like, it's literally starts in the mind. Testosterone literally starts up at the top, and you got different hormones that are signaling the release of testosterone, such as dopamine, oxytocin is involved up there, and a few other hormones as well too. So be sure, if you got any questions, you can always log into the chat. But if you got any questions about that, let me know. And I know some of you guys have already signed up. As a matter of fact, if Darren is on here, we've got to talk about which one of the selections you want. But other than that, guys, man, I'm about to open it up for anybody to just have any conversations. I know y'all see what's going on with the UK. Well, not UK, but the Ukraine and Russia. Please don't get distracted by this stuff, man. Don't get distracted by this stuff. Everybody should know by now, any kind of stuff like this that's happening on the news is never, ever really telling the full truth. I see people on social media posting stuff like, we who, man? These rich people who are fighting for power and resources and leverage against each other, they don't give a fuck about the common person. So, like, it's very important for folks to really stay on their stuff. Like, literally stay on what you got to stay on for the most part. So that way, you're not in no rut with anybody, guys. And I'm on my phone today, throwing my camera. Stay focused on what you got to stay focused on in your life, man, because the news and the various other things that is just distraction. So just do a little roll call, see who's on the call with us tonight. If you don't mind, chiming in one by one from the top. There's a couple iPhones in here. What's going on, Jeremy? What's going on, Ricardo? Trayvon, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? You guys can chime in. Let me know what's going on with you guys lately. What's going on, Jeremy?
Hey, what's up, good guy? I'm just chilling, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Having a great day. One of those days, I was at the beach today, man. I feel a little tired. A little afternoon swim. I like to hit the waters every so often, at least every other week or so, when I got time. And
yeah,
I'm just chilling, bro. Just had dinner too. Dinner was really, really good. You know what I'm saying? How about yourself, man? What's going on with you?
Yeah, not much. I got my son, but I'm hanging out with my boy today. But I wanted to hop on here and just participate a little bit, show some love. But yeah, man, just doing my personal training biz and building my life coaching biz, and spending time with my lady and my boy. That's it,
man. When you hit me up the other day and you said you remember me, I was like, Jeremy. Jeremy from California?
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't recognize it was you until a little while longer. I was like, yes. How's business, man?
Yeah, it's been a minute. I was able to get my business back to where it was before COVID, so that took a lot of hustle, of course, and took some hustle, some time, but it's good. I wasn't really sure I'd be able to get it back, but I actually got it back to that level about a year ago.
That's
so
good.
It's just now the next thing is, what's next? The next level.
Well, it seems like what's next for you is incorporating more coaching and working outside of just the training, huh?
That's exactly right. You got it. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And then I see you doing your thing on social media, trying to get it out there.
Yeah, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying just kind of sharing my story, what I learned along the way, and what I'm learning from coaches, teachers, mentors that I have that I think, could be beneficial to other people. One of the things I've learned is that we all, there's levels to the game, but people like myself who don't have like a book like you, or don't have quite your platform, we might think that we don't have anything to offer, and that's not the case. There's a lot that we might
That's
offer.
definitely not the case, especially the way social media is these days. It's like if you're not this verified check person and you
Right.
don't have all these thousands of followers, there's this idea somehow that your voice is not heard, and quite frankly, that's really, it's not the truth. It's far from the truth, actually. You know what I'm saying? I find that whatever work you got to do, there's somebody out there. If it's something that's going to help others, there's somebody out there that's going to hear it. You just got to keep doing it and providing value. So like, I see what you're doing. Like you really do have to do that, and find different ways to connect with people, especially existing customers.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's about programs, sometimes it's not. But the more value you bring and the more authentic your story is in many ways, I feel as if the more help you can provide. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do, man. And I want to say, I don't know if you're going to get to this now or later, but I want to say your work, your book really got me on the right path, because at the time I came into your work, your book, and then started doing some coaching with you. I was in a place that was very quite opposite from where I'm at right now. And more
Wow.
primarily, I was in a place where my whole thing was like, finding a relationship, finding the right woman, finding my soulmate, all this stuff that was running through my head. And you were the first person that I ran into, that I encountered on social media, that said very definitively and very honestly, that's not it. Right. And so when I encountered that, I listened to more and more of your stuff. And then I was like, man, I just got to get this guy's book. I got your book. I read it. Then I was like, man, I got to get coaching from this guy, and so on and so forth. Right. So that was a pivot point for me. So that was super important for me. So I appreciate that.
So how's the relationship stuff now? Good?
Yeah, it's much better. I found that, relationships are, definitely trickier than I thought. And when I was married, you kind of do what you do. And, I was, with that person for a long time. But now it's like everybody has their own way of doing things. And you got to try to find, okay, you have your way, I have my way, but what's our way? And that takes a lot of time and a lot of conversation, a lot of patience.
Man, that's the truth.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
our way stuff, that's where we struggle.
Yeah.
And, your situation, if I recall properly, you were with someone who you guys were with together a long time, right? From young age, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a very unique situation, to be a young person with somebody practically your whole life, and then moving on from that. Like, it's like a world of learning that happens when you actually get back into the world of dating and, courting, and like, even if you're going to marry again. But, I'm glad that you guys have really moved past that.
Yeah, it's like I'm a baby. I was like, I don't know nothing about nothing.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how it is. Like, some stuff, bro, like, if you haven't done it, you just haven't done it, especially when it comes to relationships. I got a few people that I'm working with right now. And, like you said, it does take, I find that that's what I'm running to, a lot of guys that really trying to figure out the relationship stuff first, because when it's not working, it's such a blockage for certain energy types. Not every energy type, but you got some people, like, when it's not working, it just feels like, what the hell is life is about? And it's really them learning how to reprogram their mind, that your life and everything that you're doing is not to validate or to be validated by a woman, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to be fucking happy with the shit that what you call your life. And if you're not, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. A woman is not going to make you happy about it. Just like anything else. Like, if you got a business or anything, like, nobody else is going to do it if you're not doing it already. And I find like that's where a lot of guys struggle, the work to be actually doing on their own. It just takes time. That's all. I mean, like you said, it's been like 4 years, you know what I'm saying? And you definitely were amongst first people that I worked with, coming out of 2018, 2019, around that time. Yeah. And, a lot of people, what I realized, they just really have to be not just vocal within themselves, but vocal to the world as to what you want. I literally was going through some sessions with somebody the other day, and they were teaching me, and just about all the things that you need to claim, you know, and when you put into work, which I think is really the transformational aspect there. Like, I get it, we all want things. It's like, you know, like it's like you start playing basketball, and you think that you can be good, but like until you go through practice and practice, until you learn the plays, until you know, put up 10,000 shots, until you do certain things to get yourself in the game, like, you know, yeah, you're going to be in the game, but you're not going to be playing, and you're not going to be playing at a high level. So like a lot of the times for us men, like that's what we need to be spending the time doing on our own, like literally, like working hard on who we're becoming, you know, literally working on that jump shot, working on a pivot and all the different things that are required in your space. So that way, when you're called upon, which you will be at some point, you know, when you're called upon, like all those years and hours and of focus, like it's singular focus. Singular focus is such a big thing, because I find a lot of guys, for the most part, you know, you were married when we first started working together, and, you know, you couldn't really avoid your wife, even though you guys were going through stuff, but there had to come a time where you had to put it to everything to the side and say, yo, I got to focus on doing this right now, because, you know, this is really bigger than me. It's really bigger than me, especially when you have children. So like that time, man, it's so key. And I'm glad you were able to put that work in and just really re-emerge, because it's like rebuilding a new version of yourself, because you got a new business concept now. You know, things have changed, like pre-COVID, post-COVID. I know that has changed a little bit. I think we were talking pre-COVID. So, you know, there's a lot of rebuilding that you have to do in a new direction that you're going in. You got to be excited about it.
Yeah, no, very much. Everything that you just said, yeah, man, resonates with me, and I'm sure everybody, you know, on this call, you know, rebuilding. I had to rebuild myself, and I think COVID forced a lot of us to have to take a hard look at ourselves. And some of us rebuild, some of us, you know, maybe make some tweaks and adjustments. But I think it put us in a time where a lot of people got to they're forced to look at themselves, and they may not, you know, be excited about what they saw. And then so at that point, you have to make a decision: are you okay, or are you gonna make a change? And neither decision is actually easy. And I think that's one of the places where, especially men of color, in my opinion, it's one of the places where we struggle, because we might want to make a change, but we don't want to admit it to anybody else, and then we don't even know how. So who do we look to? Like, because in the process of what I'm doing, I lost a lot of friends. I ran into complications or struggles with my own family. So I had to do a lot of rebuilding on my own, and I had to find my own team. I had to kind of remake my support team to get me to where I was trying to go. You know, and that was a huge thing I had to discover, you know.
And the support team is so important, man. It's so important, because we're, especially as men of color, like we're so used to trying to make it against all odds. Like you need to get in a space sometimes where, you know what, she's supportive of you every day. Dad's supportive of you. Mom's supportive. And I know that's, you know, sometimes it's a long stretch to get these ones that have been in our lives a long time to support us and to encourage us, because they may tell us, man, you need to do this. They want you to be on something else in most cases. So it's like, you know, just really being at a space where, you know, you can look around and feel like, yo, everybody here is an ally. Everyone here wants me to win. And sometimes they're willing to sacrifice so that way I can go. They're not just selfishly saying, okay, well, you're doing you, now I've got to do me, you know, right. Or what about me? You know, like that's the case. And as a man, you know, that's why some a lot of men are literally looking for relationships, so that way they can have a woman who's literally gonna be like, yo, I'm in support of everything you do. I got you, you know, whatever you need, I got you. Because they haven't found that from family members. They haven't found that from friends. You know, like the minute you get somewhere within your work, you feel like your friends are like looking at you funny, or thinking that you think you're something else. No, I'm not. Like, you know, so the support thing is huge. And, you know, in many cases, us men, like, I get it. It's a lonely world out here. So, you know, the first person, the easiest access is to a woman, generally speaking.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true. And so what I did is my woman, as it turns out, my lady's very supportive and she's very strong. And she really forced me to look at some things outside of myself and inside of myself to really make some adjustments that I wasn't either aware that I needed to make or didn't want to make, whether or not, you know, but,
right.
But outside of her, I had to find I call it my five guys, my fight team. I had to find five guys, including my own coach that I could go to at almost any time for almost any reason. And they each have a kind of a role to play. And I've learned that it's like being in the fight world. It's like being in the fight game. You have your fight team, you have people you spar with, the people that go up to the cage with you. But when you're in the actual cage, it's just you. Life is very much the same. But these 5 people, 3 to 5 people, are the people that kind of train you, mold you, support you, bounce ideas off you, accountability, keep you in check, build you up when you're falling down. These people kind of like they kind of move behind you to help you go where you're trying to go, and they remind you of what you could be.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a friend like that, and one of those guys, he passed away last year. However, I think back to high school, and we'd go out and play ball in different gyms or what have you. I mean, this guy would get in my ear about it, and he would get me so riled up sometimes, like where I didn't have it, where I didn't have that aggression, didn't feel like I could take over the game or something like that. He was just always that person in my ear. Like I always knew that I can draw confidence from this person, and listen, man, like you said, the 5 guys are important. You got to have these men in your corner. Like, this is one thing I tell the guys all the time that are having these BFF lady friends, like that they're talking to on the phone every single day. I'm just like, yo, you wasting your time. You need other men who understand what you're going through and are willing to help you go through it. I got buddies who got wives these days, and things change a little bit when you get a wife. Like the friendship, even though they're still there, it's just different. And like every time we talk, it's like, man, I'm just happy to have somebody to talk to. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, bro, I got you, bro. So it's like it's very important to have those 5 guys. We want to have the 5 guys, and we'll have the women. We want to have the friends and the family, but it doesn't really work out like that all the time. So you really do have to fight for those guys. You really have to fight. Like you really have to fight to even maintain those relationships, because everyone's doing something, for the most part.
No, I mean you're completely right. You have to fight for it, and I speak about on my platform being intentional about creating those relationships because life is so kind of haphazard if you're not aware of these kinds of things. And again, this is something I discovered looking back, because it wasn't something I wasn't doing consciously at first. But when I started putting pieces together, I was like, oh, so I discovered, for example, I picked. So I have 5, and each person has a role. What you described is what I call a ride or die. Somebody that's probably a peer. You call them. You don't even have to tell them what you need. They just show up. But and then but I also have a mentor. Because I discovered that my circle was incomplete without a mentor. And what's great about a mentor is that a mentor doesn't have to be in your field. They're just advanced. Maybe 20, 15, maybe 30 years older, but they can give you that kind of like that higher perspective. They want the best for you. But what's interesting about a mentor is that when you seek out these people, they are so eager to give away their information. When these people are successful, they are so eager, and they're in their mind, they like, you might look at them and they're like, that guy's borderline genius. A lot of people know that they know that they're doing well, but they don't have a whole lot of people to share with, because people think they're egotistical, right? Or showing off or whatever. So if you come to someone like, hey, I really admire what you've done. I really respect what you do. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind mentoring me, we can do some kind of exchange or whatever. I found people be like, yes, I've been looking, I have all this information and nobody to share with. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And it really does require that approach. And one of my things about even that, I watched a live on this just the other day, just really being able to provide value to that mentor as well too. And not just being there to ask for information or ask for what you need, but making yourself fully available to help them, and it's kind of like,
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
if your mentor sends out an email and he gets a link wrong in it or something of that nature, like you'll be the first one to say, hey, this isn't working.
Mhm.
Sometimes I send out links like that, and some people that comes in and say, oh, you did this, like it's not working, or you didn't spell right, or this, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
good to, yeah, it's good to be that person sometimes to your mentor that can help them when they even themselves don't see where they didn't even see an opportunity, but you saw an opportunity because you're eager to be of service. And I think that's very, very key. I've always, ever since my 20s, had older men in my life that, sometimes I'm like, it's not relative, but,
Mhm.
20, 30 years, especially for us men, like it helps. I'm always on the mentorship of my father still these days. And, I have older brothers as well too, and other guys that I look up to in this space that do similar work that I admire,
Mhm.
and always want to make myself available to them as well too. So I think that's definitely key.
Mhm.
And, I think a lot of people also think that sometimes these people, you see them on social media, or you think that they, this or that, it's not too much to send them a message. It's not too much to send them an email. It's not too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Just reach out. It's definitely not going to be a waste of your time. Sometimes they're busy. It happens like that, but even still, like put your pride to the side. You reach out. Maybe they didn't answer the first time. Maybe they answer the fifth time. Like.
Not only that, I've had mentors I reached out to, like, okay, so this is what you're trying to do. Let me give you some time. Let me hear you out. Okay, you need to go see this person, right? They'll just, they may not have a ton of time, but if they like you, respect you, whatever the case, they can give you more than you might expect. But I agree, you do have to come with something. You have to come offering something, because it's weird if you're just like, yeah, just help me. You have to come offering something. They might not even take it, but they respect the fact that you offered them something. You know what I mean?
Right. And I remember there was one person that I wanted to connect with, and I was like, he was coming to Miami to do something. I was like, yo, I'll pick you up from the airport. I'll find you a hotel or a venue, or I'll do whatever if you're coming here.
Right.
I live here, so like I'm down to help. I'm down to help facilitate in the event in any capacity that I can. I just want to. I know how to, and that's the thing. When you truly believe in something or someone, in many cases, and you see the work that they can, like you do find a way to be of assistance to them. Like you do. Like he does this, he does that. You do find a way to be of help, and that's a part of your creativity in some ways, to learn how to be that kind of help to others, and not to think that, oh, he has everything he needs. Like you never know.
Yeah, you never know. You never
You
know.
never know, man. So
Yeah,
yeah, man, it's good to hear from you after all these years, to see what you're doing, and
yeah.
you're working with men as well too. I'm sure you work with women too on the
Not as
confidence
much on
coaching.
the fitness side, I still do, but as far as the
Okay.
coaching side, it's all men. So I'm kind of transitioning to working with, essentially with all men, and also I work with young men, like teenagers. I just found that's another kind of space where people ask me. And typically, it's like, hey, so and so is being bullied. I want them to get some self defense lessons, and so I found myself in that space as well. So I'm kind of combining the two, and it's a slightly different angle, but it's the same thing. It's just helping people. It's helping young people feel more confident about themselves. So those are
Yeah,
the
that's
two
true.
areas that I work in. Yeah.
And I think for you as a trainer as well too, young men, when we're all 15, 16, 17 years old, we need the combination of wisdom and also, physical exertion. Like I
Yeah.
remember my teenage years, it was my dad, like if it was hard, if it required getting up in the morning, if it required lifting, bending, almost getting hurt, he would always put me out there. So it's just like, as a trainer, like,
Mhm.
what it's like to test the body, and helping younger men, which is something I'm going to be doing more. And I'm actually re-releasing Hard on Break, a second edition, polishing it up a little bit and having a little bit more in there for the younger guys, because there's so much that the world has already told us, right? That
Mhm.
sometimes they just need to learn from a different perspective, because the world is definitely their oyster, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And at 17, 18, like I tell these guys, man, you don't know how much you got. You don't know yet. You
Oh
know, you
man,
don't know yet. You have no idea yet,
no idea.
especially if you haven't been developed. So
Yeah.
no reason not to be optimistic, and no reason not to get into the habit of really wanting to challenge yourself, like really wanting to challenge yourself. So definitely, bro, we should definitely get locked in a few more things if we can, you know what I'm saying? And I do the metaphysical work as well. We did some metaphysical stuff, right?
We did one session, and then I was
Okay.
working with to get another. There's a piece of information you needed from me, which I got, which was you needed the time of birth, which I think was 2 a.m.
Okay, you got that. Okay, that's what's up. I look forward to working there with you, because that can also help you in how people come onto you, understanding your dynamics. Because one of the things that I've learned about it is, like, energy, as we all know, it doesn't have to always be seen, doesn't have to always be heard, but it's felt. People gravitate towards certain types for a particular reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like really understanding what it is that you're bringing to the table and how to bring it furthermore, and have the impact on others while learning yourself. Because, I think a lot of people think that coaches know it all or got it figured out too. Like, sure, maybe, I was telling one of my guys the other day, yeah, maybe mentally and emotional, but, sometimes, I can't control what my daughter's mother does, and I don't like it, or, you know what I'm saying? Or something of that nature, or something comes up, shit comes up for everybody. It's really about how you handle it. And in some cases, how you, I like to say, how you learn from it. Because, you got some people in a young age, and stuff is happening to you. You're like, why is this shit happening to me? Right. Like, this is the worst thing ever. Yeah. Lord, why me? But you're not really, like, I feel like that's how I felt before I wrote my book. I was just like, Lord, why me? Why did this happen? I'm a good person. Why did this happen? Like, I didn't understand that. Then I wrote the book, and I don't think I even understood after I wrote the book. It's until, let's say, about a year later, and I'm like, and it took a while for books to really start selling. And I was just like, damn, what the hell did I do this for? Just to talk about what I went through? I didn't see it yet. And then the more reviews came back, the more people started telling me that it was changing their life. I was like, okay, well, maybe this is why I went through this. Like, literally, sometimes I got to remind myself, because some of the things that you don't like about your life, like, there's nobody who's got their life perfect. Like, I don't care. Like, not Tony Robbins, not anybody at the top, not Elon Musk. Nobody has this perfect life. I can guarantee that, where they wouldn't want to change some things. So, I bet Jeff Bezos didn't want to lose $200 billion in a divorce. You know what I'm saying? So, but as long as you have your purpose, as long as you have that drive that you're going towards, as long as that's being, more and more clarified to you, like, literally, you're like, you're good to go in many cases, really are. So it's very, very important. It's very, very important for us to have that groundedness that we need, because while things may change very often in your life, like, it's like you have to have some consistent rhythm that you can stick to, that becomes your laws, your principles to live by. That, sure, I'll change this and I'll change that and I'll do whatever I need to do to be successful. But I'm going to wake up every morning, squeeze some lime into my water, take my supplements, go for a run, read for an hour. Like, you have to have some practices, some disciplined practices that actually get you through it. And I think that when men have to do that on their own, that's when a lot of the mind starts drifting here and there. Let me call so-and-so. Let me check Instagram and see this. Let me, the bird brain, right?
Totally. Yeah. Jay Shetty calls it monkey mind, but yeah.
Yeah, the monkey mind. Yeah.
I think we just want to backtrack because we're addicted to our distractions.
Man, we are, for the most part. Like, I tell my woman this all the time. Like, when I get on social media, I often have an objective. like literally an objective of which I need to just terminate this thing if it's not accomplished. Like, I don't want to spend 30 minutes on here. You know, there's some days where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna scroll or whatever. But other than that, like, I don't want to be too distracted because I know what's there. Like, the distractions, they're too easy. There's something that somebody could be doing right now, you know, that they're not doing simply because they're distracted, you know, and even the things that you think that you're pursuing sometimes is a distraction. And that's why the real value of understanding yourself is knowing that, okay, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, if I'm consuming information that I'm supposed to consume, if I'm studying what I'm supposed to study, like if it's all in harmony with me, it'll never be a distraction. But at the end of the day, I know I'm going to have some. I know I'm going to have some.
Right.
Can I identify them? Can I minimize them? You know, and can I create systems that keep me back in line, that sends me back to the center, so to speak, so that way I don't spend too much time distracted or go chasing waterfalls. A lot of people chase waterfalls that they don't ever plan on jumping off. You know, they just want to go there and look at it. Okay, well, you need to go after the things that you actually really know that is going to help you. It's going to help your life. It's going to help your relationships. It's going to help your family. Like, don't get distracted. This social media shit, man, like that's what I was talking earlier about, the whole Ukraine and Russia thing. Man, it's another distraction because most people don't even understand why they're war fighting. You know what I'm saying? So the distraction comes in so many different ways. And as men, you know, it's not just the social media and the distractions from phone work and these other things. It's also the distractions that come in the form of relationships, form of women, in the form of sex, in the form of substances, you know. And sometimes a lot of guys are working their asses off at work as a form of escape from having to actually do all the work that needs to be done on the other ends of their life. So, you know, it's big work. And I think that this space, as you can see, you know, over the last 4 years, it's a growing space where men are becoming more aware that, okay, you know, I try, but damn, for one reason or the other, I'm always distracted. Like I need some help. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what it is, because like you said, and I'll admit too, like I need mentors. I need people who can show me a thing or two. I always try to find myself looking up to somebody, or, you know, I go over books that I've read 300 times already. You know what I'm saying? You just got to do it. You got to find a way to narrow yourself back to the real focal point of what you're trying to accomplish, especially if you're a man that's in like your 20s right now and you're just now seeing the light of your life's purpose, or your life is changing just a little bit, or it's changed drastically. And now you have to learn how to live from a different vantage point than you had before. You know, the same thing for men in their 30s and 40s too. Sometimes your big break doesn't come until then, or even in your 50s. It's just about understanding that the work that you're doing right now is the right work, you know? And that's what the purpose and the metaphysical understanding of yourself really comes in, to know definitively, this is the right work. This is the right space. You know, whatever trials and tribulations I got to go through in here, I'm willing to go through it because I know that this is the right space. You got some people, like I said earlier, that are chasing waterfalls. Like you haven't even mastered the level that you're on right now, but you're looking to ascend to 2 or 3 levels beyond that, and you're trying to do it on your own. You're not even trying to get any help.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're gonna, and in those cases, what happens? You ask those people, "Oh, I thought you were doing this. What happened to that?" "Oh man, you know, you weren't prepared for that.
Yeah,
You didn't have any help."
You fail on multiple levels when that happens. But you know, I think that happens to all of us. But the benefit of having a coach, or one of the many benefits of having a coach, is having somebody to help you get that clarity. Because I think all of us, I think everyone struggles with, I think I mentioned earlier, being really honest with themselves with what they want, and then being honest with themselves are they going to go out and get that, or are they going to be okay, or try to find be a way to be okay with where they're at right now. So there's like 2 questions you have to answer. What do you really want, and are you willing to get it, right? And then there's then there's all kinds of other coaches that come after that. But having a coach can help you distill that down because, with your work, you can help people kind of it's helpful to get an idea of, what energies surround you, what energies have made you, to kind of then give you an understanding of what you're kind of built for, what you're made for, what you're here for, what your purpose is for. So there's multiple perspectives, there's multiple ways to get to that answer. But people, men in particular, I think have to be able to find that answer. And I think one of the places that where men struggle, from what I found with the work that I've done with men, is that we're in this space and we're doing this work, whatever it is, a teacher, lawyer, doctor, and we're just like, well, I'm here now, like, and I have this depending on me, and this depending on me, and this depending on me, and I can't change. Like, I can't. There's no, there's no wiggle room. There's no, right. And so while there might be some truth to that, if you find yourself in a space like I was, where I was just kind of deteriorating from the inside out, not because of what I was doing, but because of where I was at, and then Nipsey Hussle has this interview that he did, that he said something brilliant. He said, you might have seen this. He said, you can either be at peace with the world and at war with yourself, or at peace with yourself and at war with the world. And yeah, where many people find themselves at, and that's where the cause of like anxiety, depression, everything like that. So having a coach can help you get clarity on what is it that you really want to be. Like, what is your soul calling toward? Okay, now, if that's what it is, what can we start to do to move things in that direction? What are you willing to sacrifice, and what do you need to keep? Because there's a lot of kind of negotiating, in a sense, that would have to be done. There's things you want to keep, there's things you're going to lose. But, when you have a coach, you have somebody kind of to help to walk with you through that journey, right? Which right. I had you, and I've had other coaches, like through steps of the way. But had I not had that, I don't know what I would have done. Like, I don't know how I would have figured it out to this point. I have no idea. But I had people to walk beside me, help me figure it out. Yeah.
And you see the advantage, especially for anybody listening who's younger or who's just in a change in their life, is that you get enough. You want to do this now if you can. You don't want to do this you don't want to have to go through it when you're 50, because like, if you've ever watched your dad or anybody go through any older man go through a midlife crisis, trust me, it's not pretty. And in many cases, the midlife crisis is a result of a man who really didn't choose what he really wanted to do. Yeah. And now he's like, damn, I'm not happy with this. I hate my job, but this is what pays the bills. You know what I'm saying? I'm not happy about how the kids turn out, but I can't do anything about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why did she have a son with this guy? Right. Like, it's such a heavier burden when you're 55 and you got, 20-year-olds and they're still living with you. I watched this one man go through a so-called midlife crisis, and I didn't understand it. It was like 10 years ago. I was like, what the hell is it? I'm looking at it as like, yo, you guys live in a nice big house, nice community, like, you got good children. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why you want to go ride motorcycles and crash like now? Like, the whole family was like, yo, what's with our dad? Like, and nobody really cares that, they didn't care. Like, they just was just like trying to get him to snap out of it. And they don't understand what he was dealing with. And that's usually because he skipped over this process at some point in his life, because it always comes back up. What you need to work on always comes back up. And speaking of that, anybody else wanted to chime in, guys, you feel free to chime in. It's not just me.
Yeah, I didn't want to. Yes, I didn't want to interrupt y'all. This is the first off on whatever. I had told you about thank you for the book and everything.
What's up,
but basically, pretty good. My name is Xavier. To Mr. Murphy, Jeremy, I got a lot of freaking questions for you, and of course to you, Nakada. Like, I'm going through a divorce right now at the moment, and it's just like kind of like how he said, like, they were together since they were younger. I was with her from when I was 21. She was 18, and now I'm 30, and now she's 26, 25 or whatever. And like, we're just, I don't know, it's just like, I wouldn't wish this on nobody, honestly. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, but yeah, so right now it's just like kind of like finding myself, and then just trying to be better, do better, and then exactly what y'all were saying about just trying to, like, you got to cut things off. And I have my CDL and stuff, and I've had my CDL since 2016. But like I can't say I'm always into some legal troubles, but I'm always in the streets. You know what I mean? Just not doing what I'm supposed to per se be doing, and then that kind of like ruined like everything, like my marriage. I mean, I still have my CDL, but like I don't have any just like consistent history with my CDL. So it's just kind of like I call it purgatory. I feel like I'm in purgatory.
So how long have you been in this position now?
Honestly, since 2019 is when this all started, like right before COVID. Like,
so what do you feel as if most of the issues are stemming from the problems in the relationship, or do you think it has more to do with the fact that you're not decisive about who you're becoming?
That's a major one. Like, I'm not decisive about who I'm becoming because I call it your ego, my earth god only. A lot of people, you know how you have your nickname or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, like, my name is Xavier, but a lot of people call me XO. And it's just like, XO is, he's with it all. He don't give a fuck. Like, it's gonna be a sad situation for you. And then Xavier is more conscious, but then it's like the Hulk situation. Like, Bruce Banner can't just overtake the Hulk, but the Hulk can all day, every day overtake Bruce Banner type situation. Right. Yeah.
Does that include substances too?
Yeah. I mean, I smoke. I mean, big. I mean, I smoke big. And I mean, just tree. I mean, I don't do any other drugs, nothing like that. But that is also like what I'm trying to put behind myself. Like, I know in 2020, I had stopped smoking, like just cold turkey. And it was like for 8 months. And like, everybody was just like, what the hell? Like, bro, like, you ain't smoking? I'm like, nah, I ain't smoking. Like, I'm good. They're like, well, what you doing? I mean, I'm drinking a little bit, but then that was the thing too. Like, I stopped smoking, and then it was like the drinking was just like tenfold, and then that's yeah. So, but then like now I'm like, I'm not smoking, I'm not drinking, and then it's like kind of like I'm looking at it like what do I do with my time per se? Like, I'm trying to get back on my workout routine and everything. That's just like not having the motivate, like how you were saying, trying to do things by yourself. It's like impossible. And I'm not a person to where I'm just like, I'm super powerful, I ain't gonna lie. So I'm not a person that's just gonna go up to you, hey, can I be with y'all or can I hang out with y'all type thing? Like, I'm A1 rocking by myself all day, every day. But yeah.
So do you have one second before I let you jump in, Jeremy, because I know you can help him with the divorce stuff as well. What do you have, like an elevator pitch of who you are outside of the CDL and outside of the relationship, like, and even outside of what your friends think? Like, is there an identity that you're not that you are not bringing forth, or is it just not decided yet?
Majorly on the not decided.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, how do I put this? Like I said, I'm going through the divorce or whatever. She's saying that she's just waiting to put the paperwork in, and then I've came like for the longest I was just like please don't do it, like please don't do it. And now I'm at the point where it's just like, please go. Like, do you not know that I'm ready to be just happy, just genuinely just happy, like not have to just be in tune with my star player. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, my cousin, I had went up to him 2 days ago, and I was chopping it up with him because and like I cut hair too, and I got like 150 hours to get my barber's license basically, and like that's honestly like my passion, like cutting hair, like that's the passion right there. Like, the CDL is cool and everything, but it's just like, how do I put it? People can't drive, so I don't want to wreck nobody, like hurt nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that on my conscience, if that makes sense. And then like with the barbering, that's just like, not even trying to say easy. I've been cutting hair since I was 14. I'm 30 now. And it's just like second nature. It's just like, what you want? All right, bet. Boom. Hit it. Boom. And I like the after effect of whenever I cut someone's hair. It's not even about the money aspect. It's like just to see them smile. Like, if I cut a kid's hair and he just like, oh, did you see the design he put in my head? And then he walking around school like, I already know you at school. Like, yeah, I'm that guy. You know what I mean? Just to be able to put that, I'm that guy for somebody else, if that makes sense. Like, my confidence is like up, if that makes sense. But then, I mean, some days I'm just like, man, fuck it. I don't give a hell. Like, just because just this whole divorce, just like, well, just life general, and honestly. So that's what my whole thing is.
So you definitely got some work to do on how the divorce is affecting you. What do you think, Jeremy?
I think you asked some great questions, Nakada. You asked a couple of things that I was wondering too. First, big ups, my man, for taking the time to share this, in this space. I respect that. So, and I appreciate that. So, but I had the similar question for you before we get to the divorce part, because I say that because that may or may not be the best course of action. Now, I'm saying that as from a position of a life coach. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor, but a life coach and a person that's gone through it, right? So I'm just saying that may or may not be the right answer. And you won't be, in my opinion, you won't be totally sure, at least in my experience, until you have decided who you want to be, which goes back to what Nakada was saying. Because the divorce is ugly, bro. Like, no matter how you look at it, no matter who's up, who's down, who's left, who's right, who's wrong, it's ugly, bro. And I did what I had to do, but I wouldn't want it on anybody. I wouldn't wish it on I got people that I don't really care for, but I wouldn't want to wish that on them.
Basically,
you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to wish that on anybody. So, because there's a lot of moving parts, and of course, especially if there's kids, there's people that are affected, and then you have to deal with how they're affected and deal with how you're affected both at the same time. It's just not easy, But
yes, sir.
So my question to you is, in your heart, right? If you've had time, and you may not have the answer right this second, and that's okay. But my question is, have you taken the time to figure out who you want to be, just in and of yourself?
Honestly, like, I know who I want to per se be. Like, I want to be, I want to be a barber. I want my, like, I mean, and I know that's career wise. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle and my aunt, they have, like, when I say, I mean, I'm pretty sure their marriage isn't just perfectly keen and peachy and everything, but they've been married since they were like 25, and I think her birthday is like 3 days before Michael Jackson. So however old he would be, she's like 60 or something like that. So they've been married for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, that's what I want. Like, I want a great marriage. I want to be able to come to the house, like, talk to you about my day, like, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then just like society right now, like, I mean, I know y'all know Steph is cold. Like, I've been on YouTube like a mug, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to see a female. I don't want to talk to a female. like, damn, like, y'all bitches is
If
cold.
you're listening to Steph is cold, I totally understand.
I don't even know. I don't even know what that is or who that is. But that makes
It's
me
like a YouTuber, a little manosphere YouTuber.
okay. Okay, but so consider what Nakata was saying earlier about distractions, right? Consider that. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
going back to you though, okay, so you know what you want to be, right? So
Yes.
now you want to be in my thought process is whatever you decide to be world class. So
Ooh.
because it's not good enough to just be good, because it's hard to imagine good. It's hard to imagine average. It's hard to imagine a little bit better than average. It's hard to imagine okay. Consider world class because that'll put you in a position where you're always pushing to be better, and you'll continue to look at things that you can add, and you'll continue to look at things you can take away to be world class, right?
Okay.
If it means that much to you, consider yourself world class and work towards that, unless there's something else.
I understand.
When?
Understand. Yes, sir.
Okay, so then the next thing is who are the people that fit into this, specifically the person that you're getting this divorce from. Can you see a life with this person moving forward? Have you guys gone to relationship counseling, marriage counseling? Is it really over? Is there potential to repair it? Would you want to repair it? It could be a part of your life as a world-class barber is the question. And
Yeah.
would you want?
Yeah. So with that, like, I mean, like I say, this all happened. This all started in October of 2019. We were at this little spot. It was weird, honestly. Like, I'm not trying to tell you this whole story, but like something like it was like something like crawled up on my shoulder and was like, "Hey, look to your right." And she was sitting to my right, and it was like, "Why is she smiling like that?" And I was like, "What the?" Like, I was having a whole conversation to myself in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, why is she smiling like that? And she's looking at her phone, and it was just like, grab her phone. So then I grab her phone. She's on Snapchat, and she's talking to this little boy. And like, I kind of like, I can't say that. I didn't forgive that situation per se. The little boy, I had told him like, "What you want to do? You know what I mean? We can fight it out, we can shoot it out, we can talk it out." He wanted to hide out. I mean, it was just like so like since that whole situation, it's kind of like my trust is like fucked for you. Like we've been going back and forth with okay, I want to go to marriage counseling. She wants to go to marriage counseling, and we'll both be on. If she wants to go, I don't want to go. If I want to go, she don't want to go. So then it's just like always an opposite, and it's just like, to be honest with you, like I'm just tired of being opposite. Like I just want to be right. If me being right is me being by myself, then shit, let me be by my motherfucking self. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I'd rather be shit happy and peaceful in my own abode. Like whenever we had broke up, I was in my apartment and everything because we had got the apartment together. Mm-hmm. And then that whole situation happened. She went and moved back with her mom. And then I'm still hearing like, yeah, that she was still talking to the little boys and shit. And so it's just like cool, like do that, like do you. Mm-hmm. So then whenever I started doing me and you come into the apartment and it's like, oh, like who is that? I seen her, but then I seen another one last time. I can't, yes, like I'm not ugly at all, you know what I mean? Like, so it ain't nothing like that. Like, it's just like I can get girls, period. But it's just like I want yo stupid ass. So it's just like, what the fuck? So it's just like, I don't know, but at the same time, it's like I say, like, I'd rather be in tune with my star player and just be happy than have to fucking be on some sad, like, I don't know how to, like, there was a little TikTok and the dude had said, how come whenever you pull up to the house, you sit in the car for a minute? Mm-hmm. And yeah, and I've been doing that. Like I've been doing that for like the longest. I'll just sit in the car for a minute, mm-hmm. and then I'll get out the car and then go in the house and everything. Yeah, but I didn't understand. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been there. So what I'm feeling and what you're reflecting to me is, or what you're saying to me is, it sounds like you're done. It sounds like you're ready. You're ready to move on, right?
But yeah, I mean, like I say, I would love to go to marriage counseling. I would love to make it like better, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to give 100%. And then I'm telling you, I've been listening to Steph Cole. And then on the back burner be like, well, damn, like she didn't call me or she didn't text me whenever she said she was going to text me. She went to lunch break, but she didn't call me at all on lunch break. So what was you doing on your lunch break? Like, I just don't even have the energy for that, if that makes sense. Like, my trust is like fucked for you. Like there's a lot, it would be a lot to even do. I mean, like, it's just like, to me, it's like kind of even pointless at the end of the day to even do it. So it's just like, why even waste my time and my energy to even try to make that happen?
Right. So, I understand that. I understand that. So what we're talking about though, what I want to ask you to focus on is less about her and what she did and more about you. And the reason is because I wouldn't want you to be in a situation that you're no longer happy, because I didn't stay. But before I made my move, I tried to make sure I did everything I could do, even when I didn't really want to try to see if there's an opportunity to repair, because there's so much at stake, right? And then by the time I got to the end of that process, then I was like 1,000% sure. So I did everything I could do until I got to 1,000% sure. And even then, once I was 1,000% sure, I would make my move, and it was still hard. Everything else that came after that was still hard. So what I'm trying to get you to think about is, are there things that you think, just looking back a little bit, just here and there, don't have to go deep, are there things that you think you could have done differently that might have helped your relationship be better, be more trustful, be more honest, be more smooth? Are there things that you think you could have done better?
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, I'm not perfect. I know that for a fact. There's like hella things I could have done, you know what I mean, to make things better. How do I put it? How do I put this? So in 2019, that's whenever I started barber school. Like I had got my CDL in 2016, wasn't really able to mess with it because I was on probation. So I couldn't go over the road to really just like get my experience basically. And then where I stay in like the north part of Texas, like a little bit of like 2 hours out of Oklahoma. It's just like, how do I put it? You got to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that's going to be able to fuck with you when it comes to the CDL thing. Like you can get jobs easy, but they going to run you. Like if you work for like certain companies, they going to run you. You're going to be gone for a month and then you'll come home for maybe a week. And then you go on for another month, 2 months, and then you back home for maybe a week. And like, I didn't want that because we had just had our first son. And I was just like, nah, let me be here. Let me be at the house and everything. So I just like worked like odd jobs basically. And then 2019, I got in, like I say, barber school. And then like, it was kind of like we were good, but then like with me becoming or trying to become a barber and everything, that's when like everything changed. Because I mean, I was being told like, yeah, you might want to step up this. Like, you don't want to be so hood. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to just cut black people's hair, basically. Like, you want to be able to cut everybody's hair. So you want to change your vocabulary, change the way you talk. Don't be looking so mad. This is that. Just little things.
By her or by other people? By her or by other people? Who is telling you this?
Just like our instructors and stuff like that. Like, you want to be able to just be able to
have broad appeal.
Yeah, be able to move with everybody and not just be stuck with one type of hairstyle and stuff, because you're gonna be limited to your money and basically
demographic.
One demographic, yes sir. So like with that coming into that whole situation, and like it's just like I don't know how to explain it really. I mean, like I say, like you said, like is there things that I could have done better? Yeah, there was a whole lot of things I could have done better. I could have, like after school I would go to work, but then after work I should have just went to the house. But I was out ripping and running the streets trying to make ends meet and stuff. So I take full responsibility of that. But
So do you think that do you think that some of your actions could have created a situation where she didn't trust you?
Yeah, because I mean, like, with me, I know honestly, like with me ripping and running the streets, like I'm not able to just answer my phone whenever you want me to answer the phone. And then if you call on my phone with some type of attitude, like I'm already dealing with all these people right now. Like I don't have the energy or I just don't even have the energy. Like I hate negativity, like with a passion. Like if you were negative, like just bye. Like I don't really give a fuck. Like
okay, let me ask you another question. You mentioned kids. Do you mind if I ask how many?
I have 3 boys, 5 years old, 4 years old, and then I just had he's 9 months. But then, my life's crazy. So like even whenever he was born, I had just signed for probation. I'm on probation again now. Like I just signed for probation, 3 years deferred.
Mm-hmm.
And so the same day that I signed for probation, which was June 8th. So of course, when you're on probation, I don't know if anybody knows, but you ain't supposed to leave the city. You ain't supposed to leave your county or whatever. I signed for probation, 9 that morning, 9 that night. I was in a whole nother county, in a whole nother jail, on a whole nother charge. Like my life just been moving. It's not even saying moving fast, but it's just like, I don't know. I'll be trying to get everything. Like my tea lady tells me that I'm impatient. I want everything now. And I mean, that's how I see it. Like, I want everything now. Yeah.
Okay. And so
who's supporting you? One second, Jeremy. Who's supporting you in all these transitions that you've been making? Because somebody's got to be behind you. Barber school, CDL. Who you've been listening to take those urges?
With my CDL, that was my stepdad. Like he's been driving trucks since forever, honestly. Like ever since I known him, and I known him since I was 12. And like that wasn't ever like a passion or you know what I mean, thing for me. But like barbering, like I say, that's my thing. Like barbering, like let me just be at the barbershop. I'm cool just being in the barbershop. Like I love the barbershop. I love the conversation, like how we having a conversation right now. Like I could have this conversation at the barbershop. You know what I mean? It's just it's kind of like a steel sharpened steel type thing.
Right. So it definitely seems as if you got a lot of self work that you got to do on your own. And
yes, sir.
The 3 children are with the same lady.
Yeah, I only got 3 boys, and they all with the same woman, and we are married still. Yeah.
And like Jeremy's saying, I definitely think it's a great idea, like Jeremy's saying, to do as best as you can to salvage the marriage, but not just to salvage the marriage, but really to consider the children, consider your legacy, consider their lives, how their lives will be, and just really look forward into time. Because 3 children, 1 woman, trust me, man, like if that doesn't have to be your ex-wife, it'll be advantageous to you, to really be there as much as you possibly can. So with the self-work, like a lot of my metaphysical coaching is really designed around you understanding yourself better, so that way you can better present yourself to your children, your woman, your family. Because you're saying a lot about probation and ripping and running in these streets. So, you know, when it comes to the streets, it's shit that is only a couple things you could be doing out there. You understand?
Oh, you off
You know what I'm
top.
saying?
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I'm saying. It's only a few things you could be doing out there. A barber is always connected to the streets. We understand that no matter where you barber, what demographic you barber, you know, people come in and you're gonna be connected to the streets in some ways, shape, or form. But it's like I really see that there's a transformational, it's like a failure to launch kind of thing, meaning that you know you want to become more than just a street dude. You know that already.
But terrified as fuck. Yeah. Dead ass.
Yeah, and you clearly have the intelligence to figure that out. It's just about mechanics. This is what we call it in my human design system. That's why really understanding yourself and knowing yourself is such a big deal, and really being able to sit with yourself. And, you know, and I find myself sometimes, you know, with the book and everything, advising married men, yet that the break can be for you too. It's just not a permanent break. And I think we spoke about this, Jeremy, when you were going through it too. Like you did need some time by yourself away from her too, you know, to really know, to gather yourself and say, is this really what I want? What the fuck do I want for me? Because like, I'm telling you, the divorce, the children, the money, like none of that compares to really having what we call a singular focus on who you're becoming. So like, even though you want to be a barber now, where does that take you? Barbers are connected. So that means a stockbroker could be your customer, and a truck driver could be your customer, or somebody that imports shit from China. Like barbers can be connected to a variety of different things that helps them. Because like I got this one barber friend who's a friend of a friend. He's part of a network. So we're all in a particular network where we're helping each other, so to speak. But the barber, he gets in by having a conversation with him. And then boom, we get connected to this and connected to that. You kind of have to have an idea of how it ends, not ends, but how you get to buy the
transition
house
throughout the whole situation. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you send children to college? How do you, you know, instill something, like if this is not who you want to be, how do you instill, you know what I'm saying, something else into them? And you know, I really don't feel it's great to have, you have to have visualization for sure. You got to have some visualization aspect of where you see it, how you see it. And when I tell people about visualization, I look at it as an everyday thing, meaning like when you wake up, who's next to you? When you wake up, which one of your children wake up first? When you wake up, what kind of cereal or breakfast are you guys having? When you, you know, when you get dressed, where are you going? Where are they going? You know, having these kind of visuals in your head, and really also understanding the leadership that's going to come with being this person. So, you know, of course, not here, just like Jeremy said, he didn't end up staying in his marriage, and he's coming from a similar situation as you, but you have 3 children involved. You got to really consider what you want for them. And then here's the thing, you know, it's better to have a more concrete idea of who you are that you can bank on. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So before you get out of this marriage, because the world, the streets, they don't give a fuck about you, bro. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, and it's sometimes just better to ride the train of knowing who you are and working on that person before you even start thinking to yourself, like, I'm gonna leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much work am I putting in? Like, am I getting these assignments done? Do I make time to read? You know what I'm saying? Am I making time to exercise? Am I eating properly? Am I eating properly? Like, it really does go back to some real basics. I was just having this conversation with somebody today. Like, what are the basics that you're consistent with, that you can show up for you every day, and they can show up? They can say, okay, Xavier's going to do this, like rain, sleet, snow. Xavier's going to do this. So like, definitely, you know, get with me again, if you can. You know, like my sessions do require for you to know your date of birth. And of course, everybody knows the date of birth, but your time and your city. And there's just a lot that goes into it. But, you know, I would say pump the brakes. There's not, you know, pump the brakes, pause everybody, everything. You're already in barber school. You know what I'm saying? So like you can keep maintaining that. If you have a job, you keep doing what you need to do, but pause on making any more decisions that's gonna affect you and your family. You know, and you really have to also have a vision for your family, bro. You have to have a vision for your family. You have to have a vision for your family because, you know, I use this reference and I'm using it more and more. It's like, you're the one, like, no matter what, when shit goes south, everybody blames the man.
It's your fault. It's your fault. It ain't no nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Even if she did this and she did that, your ass is gonna be the one to be blamed because when you're not perfect and nobody is, that's another thing that's gonna be highlighted. All your little imperfections, all the shit that she said that she put up with you. So like, you know what I'm saying? Pause before you pause. Focus on you, bro.
And let me jump in, Nakada, real quick, if you don't mind. I just want to add to that is that the reason why Nakada's saying pause, just to give you some more clarity, is because
please,
it's hard to make big decisions when your foundation is weak or when your foundation isn't there. Like you have decision on top of decision on top of decision and situation on top of situation on top of situation, but you're still not sure who you are yet. That's what I'm gathering. You have some idea, but you haven't solidified that yet. So and divorce is a huge decision on a weak foundation, right? So so what Nakada's talking about is decide who you are. That's your foundation. And then every other decision you make stacks on top of that, right? But it won't make sense. It'll all just be like a mess.
Yeah, bro. That's how my head feels. It's just like, like what the fuck's going on?
And now I want to ask you, when you're ripping and running the streets, right? So you're a young man, you're 30, you got a lady at home, you got 3 kids. You know, in my mind, that's enough reason to be home. But obviously, there's some friction there, right?
It's just money. Like I make bread. Like
okay, so
bread. I buy and sell Jordans. I sell tree. I mean anything. Like
okay,
I've been buying it.
Okay,
go ahead.
You got to get yours. I respect that, but you also know some of the stuff that you it sounds like some of the stuff you were doing was putting you in trouble with the law. So there's that too, right?
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. When you're out ripping and running, as you put it, are you running towards something or are you running from something?
No, I'm running to some money. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, with me being in the streets, I'm getting some money. I'm not just out, just dead ass, just bullshitting. Like,
right.
Yeah. I'm not a person that just, how do I put, you're not going to see me if you ain't talking about no money really. Like, I got family, they be like, well, you don't ever come by.
Okay. So
you cut no hair, I ain't doing nothing over there. So
if you're getting money, but you're at friction with the law and you're at friction at home, doing those things, is it really worth it? What's the value of that action?
It's not even worth it because like right now it's just so much. Like I signed for a 3-year I signed on a 3rd-degree felony, and so the same day I signed on that 3rd-degree felony, I caught a 2nd-degree felony. Mm-hmm. So that 2nd degree eats that 3rd degree up all day, every day. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So with me already being on probation, it's just like right now I'm just playing a waiting game. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm in purgatory because it's just like I don't know what the hell is gonna happen. I mean, not saying it like that, but my hands is in these white people's. My life is in these white people's hands right now. So it's just like.
Let me share this with you, brother.
Your life is in what?
So like right now, like because like I said, I signed for 3 years probation. So I've been told basically like your life is in them white people's hands. What you sign up for that probation and shit. If they decide that they want to take the probation off the table and stuff, and then they want to send you off, and you have to go to TDC, then that's what it's gonna have to be. You know what I mean? And I mean, it is what it is. I mean, like I don't know, it's just crazy. I mean, life. Like I didn't expect it to, how I put it, like transpire like this, if that makes sense. Like I mean, I don't know, it's just weird, really.
So let me tell you, brother. I mean, this may or may not have been spoken to you. I don't know who the men in your life are and how active they may or may not have been.
I don't really got none, honestly, to be honest with you, G.
That was kind of my feeling. And I didn't really have any either when I was growing up. My mom and my dad had already divorced by the time I was like 3, and my stepfather was a womanizer and he beat up on my mom when I was growing up.
Basically. Yeah.
But what I had to realize is that this is what I came to, right? And I think this will resonate with you. As a man of color, as a Black man in America, you are like gold, right? Now this is how I see it. This is what I had to tell myself. you're like a rare mineral. And the reason why you're rare is because, in one hand, the place we live in likes to find opportunities to persecute you. I'm just talking to you just from like street talk right now. Like just
oh,
like,
yeah, of course. Go ahead,
right?
you go.
Likes to find opportunities to persecute you. But on the other hand, anywhere you go, anywhere else in the world, you're like a rock star. You're like that. There's a lot. I mean, when it comes to hip hop, dress, style, fashion, the way you talk, it's predicated on people that look like you all over the world. So on one hand, you're persecuted. On the other hand, you're highly sought after, right? So now you can exist in a place where you're persecuted, where you can exist as an upright man. You are valuable to any woman, any business, any organization. If you're not in trouble, if you're not on drugs, you're on the up and up, you are one of the most valuable people in the world, period. This is my opinion. This is what I had to tell myself, right? But you have to put yourself in that place. You have to know that you're valuable, you are more than worthy, you are worthy of greatness, you're worthy of accolades, you're worthy of amazing things, you have done amazing things. Your passion is helping other people feel good about themselves. You do what Nakada and I do. We kind of do it from the inside out. You do it from the outside in. We do it from the inside out. You do it from the outside in. But it's the same work, right? That's valuable work. So you're valuable in who you are and you're valuable in what you do. But you have to put yourself in a position where you can be in a place that's looking to persecute you and give them absolutely no reason or opportunity to persecute, so that you can take advantage of the land of milk and honey in an upright fashion.
Understand.
And that's important because everything else that you do, your family, your lady, I don't know her situation, everything, what's going on with you, but women are looking for a leader. And she's not seeing that. It's gonna create friction, it's gonna create frustration, regardless. I mean, you could be a great dude, not doing anything, but if you're not showing up as a leader, it's gonna create friction. That's something I had to learn. Right.
And see, and that's my question, I guess, like, because
that you have to start to build up. When you start to decide who you are, how you want to show up, the leader that you want to be, how you want to make your money the right way, you create a situation where nobody can tell you nothing, and you're creating your own lane in the land of milk and honey, and showing everybody just how valuable you already know you are.
True. Yeah, and you see, and the other thing too is it's just like anything else, right? Who's your clientele? You understand what I'm saying? You can't get caught up with your clientele, bro. And as a barber, I've seen too many barbers learn to whip it and hustle it right. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to go to the streets. You just got to go to your shop. You understand what I'm saying? You got to go to your spot. As a barber, your shop is your stash. You get what I'm saying? So everything that you got is coming out of there to a certain degree. So you ain't got to be moving and shaking and moving around. But the truth is, that's why I said knowing yourself on a metaphysical level, like I talk about, it really helps. So that way you can understand, okay, well, I'm a type of person I like to be out and about. You know what I'm saying? So you got to learn how to deal with who you are and have like a middle ground. You know, the middle ground, you must figure out what the middle ground is. Because if you're selling J's, you know what I'm saying, you selling trees, you know what I'm saying, you have to do it in a way that doesn't bring you out of your way. You gotta you can't go out of your way to get the bread. The bread needs to come to you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure you probably go to people to cut their hair as well too. But clientele matters. You can't be going to nobody for $20. That's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? So you have to establish the clientele, because there has to be respect amongst the clientele as well too. The clientele can't be bringing you down because, you know what I'm saying? Because these is the caliber of people that you're around. So, it's a pivot kind of thing that you got to do. You really just got to pivot. You already got the talents. You got the hustle. You're an entrepreneur. You're selling the J's. But the clientele that buys J's, especially if they're authentic, you know what I'm saying? And you can't get caught up with these people, man. You just can't. You got to learn how to flip the game or get into a new hustle. You know what I'm saying? Do you have the ability to be in a shop?
Like right now, I'm not able to, just because my license. I don't have my barber's license at the moment. So down here, you can't do it just because of TDLR. Like if they come in there and you ain't got your license, they will shut the whole shop down, and then they'll try to like sue the shop owner or whatever. But I just don't.
Is there an opportunity for you to become a shop owner and hire other barbers until you become a barber?
Yes, but I don't have
Seems like you can make
I got the
anything
money
happen, bro.
Huh?
It seemed like you can make damn near anything happen if you just work on it.
Oh
So
yeah,
you just got
no, I got the money wise, but I don't have the paperwork. Does that make sense? I don't got the paperwork. It'll be like, well, how are you paying for this building? You ain't worked in 2-3 years. Like, so that's how that situation will play out.
So see, and these are the things that you got to get smart about, because you got to protect your best interest in the long run. It's kind of like not paying taxes. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not encouraging anybody not to pay taxes, but I'm saying if you're gonna tax evade, you got to learn how to play the game right. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a good You got to have a good an accountant that knows what you're doing, so forth, so on. So, but the bottom line is, don't wait for you to fuck up. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like in most cases, what you need is a bigger goal to strive towards that's going to keep you locked in and keep you focused. But like we're saying here, man, it really does start with the foundation of self. You know what I'm saying? You got to do just a little bit more work, man, on who you are and who you're becoming. Because even if the fucking thing swings not in favor of you, let's say you end up in a situation where you're going to jail or something like that, you got to be prepared mentally for that shit.
Oh yeah, I just did 3 months in a whole nother city, and I don't know nobody over there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in a little ass town, but I just did 3 months, and then my son was born too, and that's what I was gonna say too to Mr. Jeremy. But it was just like, so like, I understand. Like, when I say I understand, I totally understand. But it's like, that's where I get my money, and it's just like, get money or starve, basically, type situation right now.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't want to make it sound like what you're saying. I don't want to gloss over it. But at the same time, look, for me, I'm a Black man. I do most of my work in Silicon Valley as a personal trainer. I don't know anybody else that does what I do that looks like me, where I'm doing it. I don't know anybody else that does what I do that looks like me where I'm doing it, right? I used to know one other guy, and he moved away, whatever. And he was super talented, super smart guy. What I'm trying to say is that anything is possible, but that requires you going back to knowing yourself, and then you deciding once you know yourself and once you know what you want to offer, how you want to show up in the world, like Nakada was saying, not only will people come to you, but opportunities will come to you. But you have to decide who you want to be. And I don't mean like who you want to be, right? I mean like, if you could project yourself 5 years out in the future and bring that person to you now, kind of like Nakada was talking about, like writing. There's an exercise that I learned. You can journal, for example, how your perfect day would look, just like Nakada was saying, but that would be like journal your perfect day 5 years from now. And then as you start to get that vision will actually, it becomes 5 years and then 3 years, and all of a sudden it's like yesterday, But you have to be on a consistent basis. You have to be having that vision, having the mentality, having that energy of that person on a regular, consistent basis. What will happen is all of a sudden you'll get to a day where you're like, I can't believe I used to get my money out in the street. That's so silly. Now I get my money by doing this, and this, and this, and this, and it's all legal, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, like I've had like,
and you're using the same skills.
There's a whole nother world
using the same skills
that will open up to you, but you have to open up to it first.
Yeah. And that's a key thing. It just, sometimes you got to just go to the next level of it. Sure, you don't understand the ins and outs of owning a shop right now, but is that better than waiting? Is going towards that better than waiting? Because if you had a shop and it was well organized, now the wife can be involved. She can see some stability. You understand what I'm saying? If you do get knocked, now that's residual income that's coming for you just in case you're not there. You got to go bigger. Because when you go bigger, in many cases, right, the clientele changes. Mm-hmm. The same people who you got caught up with, they're not going to be on that level anymore. Now you're dealing with different kind of people. So like, you just kind of got to do that. But, like I said, man, get with me, we could do one of these sessions and get really deep into it. So that way you can have a compass, your life could go in any direction, like you say right now, but you want to have control over yourself, and you want to have a better idea of where you're going with it. Like, what do you want? How does this transmutation process work for you? What are you becoming, B? Like, who are you becoming? And I think it's important for you to have that concept, and it starts with that personal work. So it's a pause, and I know, like you said, the head's running all kind of directions. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got 1,000 questions and 1,000 things going on in the head. You got people, you got wife, you got children, you got, you got the problems, you got the streets, you got the money. Like, I get it. That shit ain't easy. So I know that hitting pause ain't an easy thing to do. But, if you're hitting pause to get help, you know what I'm saying? To have
like I'm in counseling right now. I'm in counseling right now, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, and it's helped a lot, honestly. I've been doing it since December. I mean, I've been doing it on and off, basically, but then, like, doing it in person is a whole different, like, it's just different. I don't even know how to explain it to you. It's like I feel heard, I guess, basically. But I've been doing that, and it helps, and it makes it where I don't, how do I put it, display, like, all just unnecessary information to unnecessary people, basically. Like, I don't have to worry about something else going out to, I don't know, someone else that doesn't need to know what the hell I just said, basically. But I've been doing the counseling and shit, and that's been heaven sent, honestly.
Yeah, man, you just got to keep doing that work, bro. Get to the point where, the purpose becomes the focus, and then we work from there. You get what I'm saying? Like, pinpoint precision on you, bro. Pinpoint precision on you. Doesn't matter how long it takes. If you got the time, it's worth doing. Because I'm telling you, man, like, a lot of things can go in a lot of directions for you right now. And it sounds like you're getting help, you're getting some counseling. Now you just kind of got to get more help in the sense of where you're going and how do I go in that direction? How do I step up the game? How do I go into a new business? How do I go into a new field? You know what I'm saying? Do I need to start selling J's in China or something? Like, whatever, like, what do I need to do in order to keep myself from being in the same crowd of people, we having the same results? And, how well do I need to know myself? How well do I need to know myself in order to control my urges? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on. What did you say your name was?
Xavier,
that's right. Yeah, man, I appreciate you. You get the emails or whatever the case is, or, just hit me up. I'm here for you, man. Like, I'm glad you even spoke. I understand the situation. I've had family members in a similar situation. And, there's like sometimes, like you said, purgatory, like when you're in purgatory, like your head is spinning. You know what I'm saying? Your head is spinning. It's not a good place to be, but it's a place where, sometimes you need to be there. And sometimes you're the only one there. And the reason you're the only one there is because you are the only one who needs to learn something right now. You're the only one who needs to do this work. Nobody's going to do your homework for you right now, B. Nobody's going to do that for you. So it's all mindset from here, but you got to have something to look forward to. You got to. And that's the personal work that you got to get in there. Like I said, it's metaphysical, but it's just really knowing yourself. It is. Like, that's the command and that's the charge for us to know ourselves. And if we're not studying on that high level, like, you can't get PhD kind of knowledge of self from undergraduate study habits. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, It's going to require for you to step your game up. Step your reading game up, step your listening game up. If you're going to be working with your counselors and your coaches, somebody, like, you got to listen, you know what I'm saying? You got to put in the work, you know what I'm saying? You have to, because, other than that, you don't want it to be undefined. You don't want it to be just whatever. You want to have as much control over your life and how it goes as possible, no matter what situation that you're in right now. So, yeah, man, appreciate you talking and stopping with us, man. We want to get a couple more people in here before we get off tonight. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else got any game for us tonight?
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, everybody doing all right.
Who else we got up in here? Chief, what's good with you? Lorenzo, what's going on, boss? Trayvon? Brent?
What's up, everybody? Hope everybody doing okay.
Yes, sir. Who's this?
It's me, Brent.
Brent, what's going on, Brent?
I'm doing good. I'm just doing well. I know I came in your video early. It's just the fact that I was just actually like posted my courses online so that way anybody wanted to sell. That's why I hopped off earlier. That's why I came back on here though. So I'm good now.
That's what's up. Always a pleasure hearing from you, Brent. Brent also got into the men's wellness club that we got going on. He taking some of the supplements that he say he feel like he about to be Hulk Hogan in this motherfucker. That's what you're saying, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the thing was when I try your try your stuff, like I haven't get chest workout in 1 month. So basically I'm trying to get beyond, like, you know, you put 245 plates on both sides of the bench, and I try to bench that. I benched that two times before, but I'm trying to go beyond that. So basically what happened was when I did that before, I did like the progressive overload and chest, I noticed that it have improved. But I still on the process of trying to bench the 245, but I still in the process of doing that. But I noticed the fact that my weight was like 149 at first, but then it's up to 155 now. And I think because by, like, you know, doing semen retention helps out a lot, because it helps out hold on to testosterone. And been doing that lately though. And I just did I did triceps. So tomorrow I'm gonna do back workouts and arms and everything like that. And I'm gonna be doing good. But today I took the pills after I worked out. I forgot to take it in before, so I was in a hurry. But other than that though, I feel like the improvement, like I feel like I can do anything.
That's what's up, man. And I told you, like, the pine pollen is one that is loaded with phyto amino acids. So amino acids is really what we're looking for, especially if you're trying to build muscles. So that's why I recommend it for you, because I knew you were out there in the gym. So it's only been a week or so you're getting results already. And like I said, I felt the same way when I was on it. Like, I felt like I was able to complete sets better. Like, I wasn't burning out at 10 when I'm going to 12. I'm like, damn, I'm maxing through this 12. I'm actually trying to get to 13. This is not bad. So it's good to hear that, bro. So I'm looking forward to you to just continue using them. And of course, it's a subscription, so you'll get another one in a month, or a little bit less than a month. So let me know if you want to continue with that one, if you want to switch it up or to one of the other herbs. But if you're working out, this is definitely a good one for you, man.
Yeah, like, cause me personally, like, for me helped me out, because me being on a plant-based diet, that also helped out too, because it helps out with digestive system as well. And I know that plant-based bodybuilders like Mike Rashid and other people from YouTube, they have gained a lot better muscle, because, like, you know, when you're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, high fiber, that helps your body heal a lot faster and quicker, unless those versus those who eat meats and everything like that though. So I would say by March, I think my body will be a lot stronger by March, because it's about to be springtime and I'm gonna get more vitamin D, and daylight saving time about to be over around March 13th. So everything's working out in the favor and everything. So
that's good.
A good thing.
The pine pollen also has vitamin D3 in it as well too. So you're getting traces of that with this, and what you should also consider is getting another vitamin D supplement as well too to add, because vitamin D does nothing but boost everything. So you know, just as you go, more proteins, if you can, like, you know, protein shakes, protein powders, that may help you, because that's the only other thing. You know, you're gonna get cut and rip, but it all depends on if you want to have some bulk and get stronger as well too. So just keep working at that, man, and keep me posted.
Oh well. The most of the time, what I do is, like, with me, I would do it like at least four. I might at least do it 3 or 4 times a day. Depends on if I'm working out. But when I'm not working out, that's when I don't use them. And I came up with a strategy how to use them. Like, you know, use it for 4 days. Like, if I work out 4 times a week, I may use them. But if I'm not working out, I don't use them.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, that's what's up. We got anybody else wanted to chime in, Chief? Or is that Chief or Chef? Yeah, that's Chief. What's going on?
Hey, peace, brother. I'll chime in. This is Trayvon.
Trayvon, what's going on with your brother?
Peace, brother. Hey, man.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? You went mute on us just now.
My bad. That was my accident. My
yes,
bad. Sir. Hey, man. So just like a lot of people on here, they read your book. You know what I'm saying? It came here, stuff like that. So I'm definitely one. I haven't completed it, but I'm towards the end. and it's definitely helped me out and stuff, man. And this is a great platform that you're given, that like you just like linking up with people and just giving people an opportunity to talk. So definitely giving you your flowers right now, brother. I'm sure you hear it or whatever case may be, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't still get it. You know what I'm saying? To like have those things to keep going. So this is awesome what you're doing, brother. I wanted to let you know that, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. I definitely take pride in doing it. I try to do this as often as I can.
I have a question for you, man. So sure. For us who are on our journey now, you often preach, hey, finding our purpose, and taking a break and not necessarily getting the validation on the men part as men, not seeking the validation from women. And we grow up from that. Like when we grow up, that's what we look for, But what was your start to your journey to unlearn that and relearn not having to do those things and deprogram from those things?
That's a good question, because I think it started in my childhood, actually. My father, right? All right, so like, my brother was like, my brother's day bigger than me. So they're like 6'5", I'm only like 6'2", so I'm short one. And they went to play college ball and a little bit of professional ball in Europe and that type of stuff. So like, I kind of had that as a sight, for what I could do. But I started living with my father at 9, 10, and that joker wasn't with it. Like he wanted me to be on a program. He wanted me to be on. And so like that kind of separated me from a lot of the culture stuff. You get what I'm saying? Like it really did. And I was on the discipline, on the manners, so to speak, for some years, like really learning how to be a student, listening to my father, various other things like that. And then as I got older, like around right before college, I got into the female validating system, because that's what you do. Like, you get 16, 17 years old, you want to validate yourself by getting some. Everybody here kind of understands that, because it kind of lasts for your whole entire 20s. But during that time, I had already like accomplished a few things. I was a little, my father had a business, so I was working in the business as a child and doing certain things. So like I had a concept, and I would go into little competitions in school. I was in a business program. So I got lucky, not lucky, but I was good. And I started winning early. And so that was motivation for me to, okay, I'm pretty good at this shit. Okay, like I'm not as, I'm not the top guy, but I'm pretty good. And I eventually became amongst the ranks. So when I started going back into girls and college and those areas, it's easy to get lost there. But at the end of the day, my father had already instilled certain things. So by the time I was like 22, like I snapped out of it, bro. I snapped out of the female validation thing and went back and went to work, because I was really, I was competitive. Like I wanted to make more money than my father. I wanted to be recognized, at least by him, because a lot of us do that. I'm not the only person. I wanted to be recognized by him. I wanted to be recognized by the family. And right. I was a photographer, and I was overloaded with women. So, I created a little system where, I focused on the money. So like, just like homie was saying just now, I was really about trying to accomplish certain things. So it helped me snap out of it. But like, man, something always pulls you back in. So by my mid-20s, I got sucked back in again. And that's when I had the little issues where I was being a little reckless, and got caught up and had children with people that I didn't vet. And then I had to, so it's like a cycle, as you can see, I cycled in and I cycled off, and I'm off now. I'm off. I'm really not in it anymore. You'll never catch me doing anything for female validation anymore. You'll never catch me out here trying, peacocking, it's like the old saying by Pimp C, we're trying to get chose, right? So you put yourself together as a man, well enough for women to understand what they're seeing, right? And it's like if you ever went to a players ball or anything of that nature, right? You know, the guys that looking good and showing up is just half the job. You get what I'm saying? Thereafter, the way you look and the way you position yourself in life is what women are going to be choosing on. And then now, after she decides that she wants to choose, then you choose back. So it's just like, other than choosing back out of who chooses you, like there's not too much to do, because like, look at the market. Like the market these days, it's like I'm telling the young dudes that I work with, like the market ain't worth for you to go out there looking for nobody anymore. It's not that type of market.
Right.
You know? And so nowadays, the odds, like I play the game. It's like playing the lottery. You're not going to win the lottery so easily by buying one ticket. So the odds are technically against you at this point by going out in the game, willy-nilly in it, you know what I'm saying, Tinder apping it, you know what I'm saying, Tinder swindling, you know, and hoping that you catch something in a dirty game. So it's just like, to me, it's just not worth it. It's better essentially to look, to be who you need to be so you can be chosen, bro. Because like, you know, I'm not saying that there aren't special scenarios of which you see somebody and you decide that you're going to pursue them and you have the, you know, the skills to pursue them. But what I'm saying is like, these days, if you're young, you have children?
Nah, no children. I'm 30, no children.
Same, I have no children.
30, like you're like, yeah, at 30, you're just at this space in your life where you just, like, it's like a new beginning. The 20s are over. You may have screwed up a few things or you may have gotten a few things right. But the bottom line is, right now, like my mom told me this, like when I was like 30, 31, she's like, oh, you guys, you know, like you know, well, I don't know if my mom or dad wanted it, but the bottom line is 30s is the best 10 years span because your body's not going to be that much different from the 20s. You get what I'm saying? You don't have to, you ain't gonna be as tired, you ain't gonna be as worn out unless you were a former professional athlete with some ACL injuries and stuff like that. You know, unless that's the case, your body is still in tip-top shape so that way you can bust your ass at what you need to be busting your ass at.
Right.
And quite frankly, as hard as it is for us modernized men who've gotten into sex at teenage years and 20s, like the idea that you're a better man at 45, that, you know, like it doesn't click yet. It really doesn't click. You know what I'm saying? So like if you spend the next decade just really focused on you, and I'm not saying that you do that without women, I'm saying that you do that period, whether women are in or out of the game. You get what I'm saying? If you spend that, you'll be a better decision making. I've had a lot of guys that are like pre-40, 39, 40, and they're just trying to get it together to have children in the 40s. Like, you're not missing anything. That's how I feel. So the female validation cycle is the only way that you really get out of it in today's society is by validating yourself through the pursuit of your life's purpose and really having, you know, some help and some support in doing that, so that way you don't fall off, because it's just too easy to fall off, bro. It's just too easy to fall off. But if you've never really had that dedicated time to really build yourself, because, you know, building yourself includes what you're trying to do, like what career you're working in right now, what career you're trying to work in, you know, what lateral moves that you're trying to make, what kind of communications it requires, like what do you need to get the job done, you know? And these are things you got to find out, because, you know, the relationships, man, sometimes when you're doing this work, they come to you so easily. It's just, how long have you been doing the work? You know, how dedicated have you been to it?
Man, I want to touch on that. I appreciate that, because I was in a long relationship for about 4 years, and I proposed to the young lady, and it just didn't work. But, you know, like, you know, we all have everybody has had like the first one that like you really, really love, right? Like, you know, and usually when you're growing up, you know, you kind of like, you get, you know, the one girl, you know, when you're younger, you know, if something happened, break your heart, whatever, and you like, I'm just gonna like smash until I die, kind of basically. And then you kind of get a sense of, you like, all right, I love someone, and you give that up and it doesn't work. And you know, it's a bad breakup, gotcha. And it's hard to recover from that. A lot of men don't get the support usually that women will get after a real rough breakup. And when it happened with me, like after like putting it all on the line and everything, I mean, it was there. So, and I noticed that a lot of men have went through that too. They just don't talk about it. And
ain't nobody trying to talk about that.
And I was fraud. Like, I mean, I was in pieces. It hasn't even been a year yet. I'm better now. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. So I'm definitely better. And now, like, when these guys, I talk to them and stuff, and they like, yeah, nah, man, I've been there. And like, you know, when I opened up, then guys start coming to the aid and stuff. And I just wish that, like, having that book, my homeboy actually sent me your book. He's the one, he was like, look, man, I'm gonna send you this book that I read. And he sent me the book. And I started reading it, and that's what started helping me. And I noticed even when my ex and I, we were still living together, we just stopped, we weren't having sex. We knew it was over, but you know, mature thing, wait until, you know, we get ourselves together and like up on our feet, like, and everything cool. But like, we still gonna like settle this in a civil manner. And even after it was done, I couldn't, a woman hugged me, and I was kind of like, I felt like my body only belonged to that person. So it was a long detoxing period. But I was very focused, and my routine was great, everything, right? And I noticed, and truthfully, I would go out and I couldn't get a woman to look my way for whatever reason. But after the moment I had sex with someone, the first time after it happened, like the next day, I mean, like DMs, people looking and they're trying to holler and stuff. And I was like, okay. And I don't know what it was, but it's like they could smell it. They could smell it, right? And I was like, okay. And you know, then it started to get crazy. And I was kind of like, all right, wait, because you know, you get that thing, and you like, oh, wait a minute, I am single, right? And then you finally you get over the situation, you know, you're like, all right, cool. Like, I thought, like, it was serious. I thought, like, I ain't gonna do nothing. I might cry if I do something with somebody else. But then, like, oh, okay, cool. All right, I'm good. But now I'm feeling like I'm losing my focus. But I have gotten therapy, and I started therapy before we even ended it. But now I'm taking it more serious. And not even just, a lot of people want to be better individuals, but a lot of people don't work on being better partners, period. So I take that serious, that, you know, one day, you know, like, women, they look forward to being someone's wife one day. They train these girls, hey, one day you're going to be someone's wife, you know, things like that. But men aren't, in my experience, it's like, hey, man, one day you're going to be somebody's husband. Hey, man, look, one day you're going to have to learn how to, like, you know, you don't want your wife to have to go to somebody else to fix these brakes, bro. Like, come on out here and learn how to fix these brakes, you know? So fortunately, I've had people and men in my life to teach me those things. But I noticed that. So I start taking that seriously. But now I can, and I do the self-work on myself, but not in an arrogant sense, is in a sense of like, I really want to be a better version of myself. And I noticed that it's even hard for me to carry conversations with women who either aren't in therapy or don't at least do the self-work. It's hard to relate, because you can just kind of feel it. You can hear it in their conversation. You can hear it in the way they talk. You can hear it in the language. And
it's hard, man. It's not. There's a gap. There's a gap when, yeah.
And what I'm struggling with, and like you said, when you do the work, it's easy. Like, it is easy. And a lot of people, like, the big thing that in the community, like the conscious community and stuff now, is the words masculine energy and feminine energy and submission and things of that nature, right? Cool. Those are big buzzwords. Doing the work on myself and being authentic, right? Like, I don't have to shout like being alpha, right? Like, I tell guys, hey, man, you know, alphas don't really have to tell other dude. I'm like, why are you competing with another dude to see if you know what I'm saying? Like, we can coexist being two alphas. You feel me? So
right.
I've noticed the moment I start doing these things, doing this work, kind of anything I wanted, so to speak, happens. So these women don't have an issue of quote unquote submitting or things of that nature. However, it is more difficult because, like you said, once you do the work, they will start coming. And you will be like, hey, I'm good right now. And they'll be like, oh, okay, but they will still push their agenda and try to. And so that's the thing that I'm really trying to unlearn. So that's why I wanted to know, like, literally, like, what's, if there were steps, like, you know, people can say, hey, look, man, you should wake up this time. You get a routine, you know, read 30 minutes, go do this, you know, take a cold shower, whatever. Those are some things that people will say. So I didn't know if there were quote unquote steps that you did that helped you unlearn that.
Yeah, for me personally, like I've always had a work approach to life that my father instilled in me. And within that, it's like I found that the little work that I needed in between things. So it's like, as a photographer, which is what I was prior to writing the book, and I realized, okay, I have to develop this particular way, you know? And then when I got into some urban farming stuff and I had partners, I learned what I needed to be successful in that particular lane. And of course, like when it requires more work to be successful at something, that's when it really questions you like more, like, okay, is this what I'm supposed to do? Because it's like going to school for engineering and realizing how much math and science you have to take. And you say like, okay, do I really want to do this? So it's like, do I really want to put in these extra hours? Like, do I really want to put in this? And if the answer is yes, then it becomes easier to really attach yourself to the work that comes in. And generally speaking, like it's more important than the women in the relationships. It always ends up being more important than the women in relationships. And that's why I tell the guys, in most cases, like if the real objective, the real thing that you really want is not accomplished yet, then sure, I'm not saying that you can't have time with women, but what I'm saying is that it has to be proportioned. It has to be proportioned. You have to know that, okay, 40 hours out of the week, I'm going to spend doing this because, or let's say 20 hours because I already spent 40 hours at a job. So now I got to put in 20 hours of this. And I think that dedication approach really, really, really does help. But then, you know, with the coaching that I do on a metaphysical level, really understanding your energy and how your energy attracts women, how your energy attracts opportunities, how your energy attracts or even responds, even how you repel people, it's key. So that way you can know when something organic is happening, because that's what we're all like, that's what we're all trying to set ourselves up for, right? This organic connection. Because right now, nothing seems organic. You know it's not organic over a dating app, and you know it's not organic on the first date when you meet her, because that's just a representative for both of you. But really and truly, we're trying to set ourselves up to experience something truly organic, but it really doesn't really come until, you know, you have placed in a lot of work into the work that you're doing, because that, to me, is the way that you turn the switch on and off. Because eventually, like, I've got some people where I'm like, okay, well, bro, you've been putting in the work, you've been doing this for 2 years, like you've been celibate for 2 years, 3 years, or whatever the case is. You may have to set some dates in the book. You know what I'm saying? You may have to go out there and see what's out there now, especially if you're saying that you're 40 years old and you want to have some children and you haven't had them yet, or whatever the case is. You know, you're looking to build something, so eventually you do have to go. But that's from a position of a man who's built a little foundation for himself. You got work ethic going on your side. You've got various other inspirational and motivational. You got some support from the people. You know, you have a plan and a strategy. You get what I'm saying? Like, these are the things that you kind of have to figure out for your thing. You know what I'm saying? And you have your thing already?
Yes, sir, I do. So I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm in the Philadelphia area. I'm from Virginia, and it's going well. So I was in the military, and right once I started when I was deployed, right, and they just needed, like, they had some people out there. They said, yeah, well, we got stuff going on where you have to, you know, as long as you know how to set it up. I grew up in church, doing audio in church, so I know all how to set it up. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it started. And I came home and I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing. And I went hard. And I made a lot of headway too in Philadelphia and going back and forth to New York. And what happened was it was starting to cause a rift in my relationship. And I noticed when my personal life was flourishing, like regular work, like you go through that, normally you go through that, you're putting in time and, the work isn't, the money isn't going in there, but you're making strides, but you might not be making as much money. And, right. And you're supporting somebody and it's not, so that's what I learned. But when I really gave the relationship my biggest try, my professional life started to dwindle. So, but I'm now in a place of, you said how or wow?
How did it start to dwindle? How did the relationship affect the professional life? I know it happens, but how in your case?
All right. So when, comedy is the thing, you have to put in sweat equity. You have to be in people's faces. You got to go on stage. And a lot of times you have to go to events where you're not even performing. You have to just show your face.
Yes,
and they
sir.
get to, and they get to know you, and I'm in Philly and clearly I don't sound like I'm from Philly. I don't talk like I'm from Philly. And people remember the guy who's in the military, who's from Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that you remember. I structured my joke a certain way. So you're going to remember, even if you might not find me funny because might not be everybody's cup of tea, but you're going to remember the guy from in the military or the guy who's from Virginia. So
right.
I had to do that. But what happened was I had to find balance and like, okay, cool. Wednesday nights are going to be early nights. They're going to be our nights, so stuff like that. But when I started to give more and more and put into the relationship, I wasn't going on stage more. I wasn't going out to the clubs more or the open mics more, stuff like that. That's what happened.
And she didn't understand your need to do that? I'm not hearing you too well.
I don't know if she necessarily didn't understand it because she came from a place where her father.
You're kind of low, my brother.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
She came from a place where her father was very hardworking in entertainment, so she saw it. I think that she wanted to understand it, but deep down inside, also she just still needed. She still wanted me there. I also think that one of the lessons that I've learned when you start off right, quote unquote, when you start off right, you don't give them a reason not to trust you or anything of that nature. And when I didn't start off the best way within like the first few months of our relationship, but when things changed and a full change and stuff, it was hard to not see me for who I am versus who I was. I'm like, hey, I don't live there anymore. That's not even who I am, so we have to move forward. So I think that was the thing. And the more you see a guy, it becomes like a punishment thing or a sentence. The more I see you, the more I can know what you're doing.
Right.
And that became a thing. And I was like, hey, I just need you to know that this is not what's going on. Or we kind of split. So I don't think it was a thing of she didn't see that I didn't need it, because she would be out there with me often. Like my first year in my comedy career back in the States, she was very helpful. She record all my stuff with me. We would be dead tired, coming, getting off work, go to New York, come back in the middle of the night, and I go back to work at 6 o'clock. And she's like, I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, but when it's your thing, you find the energy to do it.
Facts.
So I think that's what it was. And it wasn't her dream. And if she would have had her thing and I tried to help her find her thing, hey, what do you want to do? Yeah, I'm talented in quite a few things, but it's only comedy. AV was my thing also, like I said, doing sound and audio and visual. So I'm like, AV and comedy, that's it. I don't do anything else. If I'm talented in other areas, I don't care. They just might be cool hobbies to pull out if it comes out. So I tried to help her. I'm sorry?
That's where your mastery is at, in comedy. Absolutely. And AV.
Absolutely. So I tried to help her find her thing so she could have her things, because if she had her thing, she wouldn't be so worried about what I'm doing. So I think that's just where it is. I mean, I just learned more. I know how to quote unquote vet more. I learned how to scope out mental issues. I learned how to work on minds if there are, so I just learned. I think that's what that was. I'm not going to put it on her that, the need for me to be there. I think that there are things that I could have done differently to help that. But at the end of the day, no, it didn't happen. So, well, I say that's my thing.
Well, knowing your thing usually helps. And as you said, the first year of the situation, there was help, there was support. And if everything could have gone like that in every other year afterwards, you would have been very confident that you have somebody that's really supporting you. So a lot of times in these situations, they also have traumas and they also have issues that they're working through, especially, you said her father was in entertainment as well too. So maybe he cheated on moms. Maybe he was away a lot. Maybe some of that stuff was triggering. And that's why one of the things that I like to tell the guys with the work that I do on the metaphysical coaching is like, yes, knowing yourself, that's a big part of it. Knowing yourself is probably the biggest part of it. But then knowing who you're dealing with too, from a metaphysical level, is going to help you, because then you kind of understand what territory or what grounds that you're in, like what sensitivities am I dealing with here? I got a woman who is a little bit, insecure. And it's not because I'm cheating on her, it's because this is how her energy is, or she's a little bit overprotective, and this is the way she is. Learning how to understand her and knowing specifically whether the way her energy composition is compatible to yours or not. Because a lot of times, it is just like that, like on a real energetic compatibility type of thing. Like the right woman who's, really compatible with you is just going to go through hell and high water with you. Whereas the other one who you kind of she had to adjust herself a little bit more. It's not so easy for her to go there with you. So, the more work you do on yourself as a man, and the more work you do, more understanding that you have about the wholeness of this person, it really does help. So, like, where are you now? Like, you single again?
I am.
Okay. And how's were you dating, or are you just focused on business right now?
I'm dating. And but I've learned to take steps back, because when I felt like I was really giving a lot of my energy, and it got to a point, like you said, if you're doing the self-work, a lot of people want that. And so now I'm 30 now, made it to 30 with no children. So a lot of women are like, you made it to 30 with no children. Then once you get into a position like where and we were not married, but we lived like we were married together. Like, we putting assets together, stuff like that. That's my wife, essentially, because I put the ring on it. We have our date and everything. And once you start to shift, even as a man, when you start to shift, and like when that's your person, you pay attention to everything. What she uses for her cycle. You get what I'm saying? Everything. Right. You feel me? And so, but now even how I pay attention to women, or how, how respectful I am, or whatever the case may be, once that happened, now you're out here, you're better now, like you understand how things work. So now I'm older, women want someone who's settled, who's a little stable, above average pay, right? Nice job. Right. I'm in an area where, basically in an area where guys are a lot of jerks to women, basically. And so now I'm like, all right. And so I try to, it's been hard, because like it's been pulled in a lot of different directions. And then I had to say, all right, cool, hold on. Now, and this not to sound arrogant, but it's the truth. It's like, all right, I may be for a lot of people, but a lot of people aren't for me.
Facts. And ain't nothing wrong with that. It ain't like I've always been that type of guy that, like, if 10 women like me, like only 2 of them gonna get in.
and man, and even still, like I would talk and I would like, help, these people grow. I feel like you should get something from me. I should get something from you, in a sense of that's not just sex. Right. So I'm helping these things, and I'm finding out that I'm like, yo, listen, I am really expanding a lot of my energy. So I am dating, but it's a weird space. I've been kind of like taking a step back from it.
Yeah,
it kind of like reclaiming my own space.
Yeah, and it requires that, and like, if you could take care of yourself financially, if you could take care of yourself emotionally, and all these other ways that you are doing right now, stepping back is just really giving you more space to see. I'm telling a lot of guys these days that it just takes more work. Like, it just takes more work than what you think. Like, sometimes when you're young, when you're in your 20s, man, connections are easy to make. And then, like, if you happen to get to 30 without any children, like, you have to be even more careful now, because like now you're getting more in your own way. You're developing your own way that you want, and you want your way to be respected.
Yeah.
You want somebody who's going to respect the path that you're walking. You want a lot more than what you wanted just last year. And, a 4-year long relationship in your 20s, like, no matter how involved that was, just imagine what a 4-year long relationship in your 30s or your 40s, or something that stretches into your 40s, is going to do. So it's a major game, but knowing who you are, knowing where you are at this point, and then, even as you step back a little bit, even though you're on the right path, just digging deeper into yourself, so that way you can present it better. Because it's like, I use the elevator pitch terminology now. It's like, you when a chick sees you and she comes to you, you got to be able to give her an idea of what your standards are really quick. Real, so that way you're not out here wasting time. So yeah, you cute and you pretty, but listen, girl, like, I'll be gone half the time. Like, if you can't deal with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're wasting my time, or listen, baby, I work from home. So like, I need somebody that's going to be in the house cooking dinner and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta know your position well enough, so that way in a very short synopsis, you can get it down and get it to them, and give them an idea, and then you look back. Because at the end of the day, these days, when women think that there's a great opportunity in you, they're not going to say no. They're going to say yes. They're going to think that, okay, you're a better catch than the other guys, or these other guys, or you have something more going for you. But when they say yes to you, it doesn't mean that they can meet your standards. So it's like really being able to communicate your standards well enough, so that way you could look and see, okay, well, like I said, I travel a lot. So what, while I'm gone, you're going to be like, you're going to know, like, while I'm gone, you're going to be texting and talking to Joe Blow. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I don't got time to be worrying about that while I'm gone.
Brother,
go ahead.
My apologies, brother. I've noticed that now dating, I now am learning what I like and what I don't like. Like, I didn't have a lot of non-negotiables at first. Like, now I know that, like, someone smoking cigarettes is non-negotiable. Like, it's not even a thing. You crack a cigarette, it's done. Now I know.
Right.
Yeah. Now I know that arguing a certain way, we can have disagreements, but like, I don't even get into the thing of like women, like, and this is not a shot. I don't know if anyone's from up north or New York or New Jersey or Philly. This is not a knock on it at all. But that usually people are more aggressive. So naturally the women are more aggressive. And I don't even get into like, that's just how I talk. Bro. I'm like, no, look, I give you a certain level of respect, period. Even if I'm not your man yet, I give you a certain level of respect. I kind of demand you to do that to me too. And that's the thing. I'm kind of like, all right, cool. I'm learning to like, all right, that's not a thing for me. I just off the rip, I can feel it. And I don't feel like going into having to teach someone how to be respectful to me either. And I'm learning these things. I'm sorry?
Yeah, well, that's a tough one, man. Because like in that area and just in America as a whole, it's like once you develop some respect for yourself as a man, you damn near you have to be on a crusade
to teach it to somebody else because they're not accustomed to very high standards. They got guys who are gonna do all kind of crazy shit on the first, second, or third time. They got guys who they can talk to all kind of crazy ways. Like, you know, they conditioned to do this. So like, it's almost like you're fighting against a very a very systemized thing. Like they already think like that. So it's like, yeah, that's when it becomes a little bit more difficult. And that's also when I encourage brothers to start traveling and going to different places and be a little bit more strategic about the approach, because you also, like you say, you knowing better now, but you also now with knowing better, then you got to know, shit, this is the type of wife that I want. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of woman that I want. Like, I'm trying to have some children under these circumstances. You know, like I tell guys, I did an Instagram reel just the other day. I was like, it's loyalty over looks, bro. Like, it's loyalty over looks. If you're a certain type of guy, you know, but if how she looks is all that matters to you, then loyalty is not that important as long as you got a bad beat. You know, so it's like men just kind of have to get to that point of understanding themselves well enough to say, you know, like you said, those standards, you ain't got time to teach nobody. But at the same time, you know, that's why I think a lot of guys need to learn how to be okay with things melting down, like even on the first date. Like, you know, like, oh, is that so? Okay, okay, so what if I don't like that? Oh, yeah, no, let's be honest. You don't like that shit. Like, this ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? This how you talk to the waiter?
Right. And you know what? I say that, brother, right? Like, and not even not in a misogynist way. I give that certain level of respect. Because I'm like, man, I dare somebody to talk to my mom or my sister like that. So naturally, I give that level of respect. Now, of course, I had to learn it over the time. You know, you learn what's respectful, what's not respectful. Case may be, listen, I apologize for any hearts I broke on the path to finding mine. You feel what I'm saying? And I had to learn that. But now at this age, it's like, all right, cool. I'm still doing work, and I've done enough work. But I really will say it's backwards.
Yeah, and there's more work to do.
People will be,
and there's more work to do.
It is, and I'm doing that, and I noticed that too. People will be respectful, you know, to a waiter, right, or to the bank teller, but not be respectful to you. Like, why? Like, you got it twisted. Like, why are you gonna be nice to that person but rude to the person you love? I'm not saying be rude to anybody, but if you're gonna choose, you know what I'm saying, be rude to them. Yeah, but I have noticed that, brother. But so dating has helped me see what I do want and I don't want. So I've slowed down in dating, but I'm appreciative of my dating experiences so far because it's helped molding me. So I'm not going to stop dating, but I'm strategic in where I put my life force, so to speak. Like, I can go on dates. Yeah, I can go on dates with women and I won't have sex with them. And that's confusing to them.
But that's very confusing to the average woman when you're not in it for a nut. And quite frankly, if it's confusing to her, it means that that's the lifestyle she lives. So generally speaking, you know, it's just like sometimes courting or dating for marriage is the best option, even if you're not looking for marriage, because now, like, at the end of the day, everyone wants a wife caliber woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want somebody you can trust. You want somebody that you ain't got to be worrying about you, and you want somebody who, you know, is not going to trap you with sex, because that's usually what happens when we have sex with somebody who we do not know, and you don't know her in 2 weeks. You don't know her in a month. You know what I'm saying? And the old school 90-day thing that they used to do when I was a kid or a teenager, like 90 days, you don't know her in 90 days neither. So, you know, so like you don't know her until you know how to ask questions and how to really court her and figure out who she is and what her life is about, and various things, and understanding what you need. So it's your needs that really determines, like, you know, what's coming onto you. It's a real process for a lot of men, because the dating game is, you can get in there real easy. You could show up, nice restaurant, you know what I'm saying, well dressed. That's sex, you know what I'm saying? That should be automatic sex for the most part. Okay, you a comedian, you funny too. Oh, I like funny guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like it really does boil down to the standards. And at 30, no children, bro, just imagine your standards are only gonna get higher because you're not even loving what you get in the dating game right now. They're only gonna get higher, more demanding. So that means that you're gonna have to be more selective about who comes into your life. And there are usually some strategies on becoming more selective, but really trying to find somebody in the niche or the like, I don't know, maybe not from the Northeast. You get what I'm saying? Like maybe you got to go to Virginia. Like
that's done now. I didn't moved on past that now. So like, yeah, that's it's all good on that one. I got to go further down. I probably got to come to Florida. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you got. And that's why I tell a lot of guys, because at the end of the day, it's going to cost you anyways. It's going to cost you anyway. So like, when you're being selective, that's the thing. I'm telling people all the time, good men, we've been dumb too. But once we realize that we're not dumb anymore and we want to be more selective, like sometimes staying where you're at, it's not enough. Like people who live in Atlanta, I don't know how they do it. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, there's some good old country girls in Atlanta too, right? You know what I'm saying?
I live in Atlanta.
Along with the ones with the 3-inch long fingernails and 3-inch long eyelashes. You know what I'm saying? There's some decent ones there. But you kind of got to go. You got to be able to go to better extents because it's really what you want. Like, are you looking for a wife? You know what I'm saying? Are you looking for, or you're just looking for some fun or somebody temporary? Because it makes a difference for you. It's because like I like to say, she has to complement not where you are right now, but who you're becoming.
Right.
So that's a big deal. So yeah, man, keep doing your thing in the sense of being selective, bro. It's gonna make you a little lonely sometimes, but as long as every day you're waking up doing what you're supposed to do and there's no questions about that. You know what I'm saying? There's no questions about where you're going. There's no questions about your work ethic. There's no questions about how bad you want what you want. You know what I'm saying? You're doing more things to get you closer to that destiny, knowing yourself. Because like, this is what I tell the guys too. Like, at 30, like, I wish I knew what I knew now at 30, but at 30, I was just snapping out of it. I was just snapping out of this fucking pseudo reality that I was lying to myself and believing the lies of everybody else. And around 30s, when I started to wake up, maybe around 31, I finally snapped out of it. And then boom, it's been taking the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years to get to where I'm at right now, because I made so many mistakes before then. So if you haven't made as many mistakes, the growth can be truly, it can serve you. It can really, really serve you, because this is where, as men, this is where we fuck up. We're in a relationship. We know, some of us know what we want. You know what I'm saying? But when you go and get somebody pregnant and you realize that you didn't put much weight on the fact that she didn't have a father because she was so nice to you. But then when you become a father and she start acting like she's the only fucking parent, and you're like, damn, like this is not how I envisioned it. Well, what did you expect? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's really learning how to use the right eyes and decipher things, man. But you're on the right path, man. It sounds like you're on the right path. Knowing what you're here for in the first place is an important process. And even if you change or evolve, the work that you do to do that is very important, So, you're not lost, you know what I'm saying? But it's not an easy game. It's just not. It's not an easy game finding a partner these days. It's just not. It's set up against us. And when you do become this guy who does clean stuff and you're not out here, with 22s on your car trying to, or gold
big thick gold chains to attract them, or whatever the case is. When you're, I see I see your photo here. You know what I'm saying? When you clean cut guy, you're not trying to do too much. Like, some women are gonna like you, but making them respect you for who you are, and it's another thing, and that's where the courting process comes in. You got to get advanced game, man. And that's why I tell guys, like, I got this new thing for guys who actually want to get married. It's courting. Like, we got to learn how to play the game, man. We got to learn how to play the game, because good guys be the last ones to play the game. We be the last ones to play the game. You got to learn how to play the game. So you're doing good, man. I'm about to wrap this up. If anybody wanted to say anything right quick before we wrap this up, let me know.
No doubt. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. I'm going to definitely be tapped in.
Likewise.
Appreciate you.
Likewise. Look out for the emails as usual. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, everybody, I got these coaching bundles going on right now, 3 calls minimum and 5 calls and 10 calls. And it also has payment plans available as well. So that's in the email. And anything, man, just always hit me up at heartonbreak@gmail.com. You get my emails, Trayvon?
I do.
Okay, that's what's up. So yeah, man, appreciate you guys. Anybody else wanted to chime in or anything? Questions, comments?
Yeah, I had a question. This is Xavier again. You said it was about 30, 31 whenever you kind of woke up. What made you wake up?
Bro, I looked around, and I had a couple women fighting in my life, and I was paying a lot of money on stuff that I didn't plan on paying a lot of money for, lawyers. And just when I looked, this was a big one too, because sometimes when you have children naively, like, oh, she loves me. And then you realize, but damn, is this love? Like, is this what I want? Is this how I want my child to grow up? Is like I had to question a lot of shit, and the answer was no. It wasn't what I wanted. Now, I didn't have the skills to get out of it right then and there, but in time, I learned how to get out of it, because learning that you don't want, like, let's say I got 2 children with 2 different women personally, and those women, they're completely okay with me just centering my life around them. As a matter of fact, they don't want nobody else in the picture. They just want it to be them alone. And I'm like, nah, I can't do this with you motherfuckers. Like, it's y'all, like, you're just draining me of my resources and my money. And I know why you with me, but like, why am I with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I stay with you? So when I started to look at the things that I didn't like, I had to say to myself, do I have the power to create it the way I want to? And the answer was yes. Is it going to take a lot of work and a lot of transformation and some goddamn years? Perhaps. But do I have the power? Yes, I had the power. So the wake up was just believing in myself that I'm worthy of what I want. Like, I'm worthy of moving on from this, getting me a nice wife, raising some children where I don't have to be arguing with somebody every weekend when it's pickup time. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a bad week at work. Like, whose fucking fault is that? Or because you didn't move on. You didn't go get you a man. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm in a relationship. You want to come to my house and you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want that, bro. Like, I saw what I was getting, and it was either I was going to stay in that, or I was going to make some moves to separate myself from that energy and get what I finally wanted. But, what I finally wanted is still in the process, because, I spent 31 years doing some shit the wrong way, bro. Or not the whole time. But what I'm saying, I had to bounce back. Even though my slide was only like 3 years, it was only a 3-year period from like 27 to 30 where I was really sliding. I woke up at about 31, 30. I woke up at about 30, was paralyzed for a little while because I didn't know what to do. So I stayed in it, you know what I'm saying? And then I finally started to move out of it around 31, 30, and moving out of it still took like 2 or 3 years. So it's like, you don't just get out of this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like if you go broke, you go bankrupt, like, you know what I'm saying? You file bankruptcy, you don't just get a bank account the same year anymore. You're gonna have to
work harder to get a bank account after that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to work harder to get credit after that. So it's kind of like that. Like I had to just move from that space of damn, like, you know, like Xavier, what you're talking about, my shit was kind of like very dramatic. You know what I'm saying? Like people telling me, oh man, this is a reality show. Like, well, I got tired of motherfuckers telling me that my shit sound like a reality show. It's telling me that something like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? Like, I don't even watch that stuff. And you trying to tell me that's how my life sounds to you? People laughing at me like crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? People following me around, like women. Oh, gosh, nah, bro. I wasn't cut out for that. I really wasn't. I just wasn't cut out for the drama that I was experiencing. My nervous system couldn't take it, bro. Like, I don't want nobody. I'm at work. Don't call me at work. Leave me alone. Like, I'm coming home. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it was just too much for me. And I had to do something different. And I didn't even expect it would be this, but I knew I had to make changes and I learned from it. So the snapping out of the process, man, it just sometimes take years, bro. Kind of like how you know you in therapy and you're doing things already, but it's like being in neutral. It's like being in neutral, man. The road runs you. So if the road is steep and you go in that direction, you roll for a little while, but you don't have no control yet. So it's just like moving out of neutral and into drive and where you're going. And it does take some time. So that to me was definitely a process. And, you know, you don't right your wrongs so easily sometimes, especially when you're young. Like, you know, and turning 30 don't mean shit. That's what I realized. I know people who are 38 and they still 28 in their minds. You know what I'm saying? It's really purpose, focus, and those other things, man. So I hope you stay focused, man, and really realize what's important to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you're on my email list, definitely look out for the for the coaching sessions that I got. Go dig into yourself, man. Like no matter what, it's always worth it, you know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Anybody else wanted to chime in? I'm about to shut this down for the night, guys. I appreciate y'all coming through, you know what I'm saying?
I would say one thing though, like you said before, I remember one of the things you said, Nakada, about how modern women are the byproducts of modern men. It makes a whole lot of sense though, because it's like, you know, we see how modern men works. But when you see a woman being affected by that, that's even 10 times worse. Like I came across, like one time I came across a woman I met in high school who saying the reason why she don't want relationship because people don't court and people don't want to take relationship serious. So she know what kind of person I am, but yet to this day, you know, I feel like to this day, it's like, damn, like you still, your thing with that is you're not properly healed, like you're not learning from your past, and you wonder why you say all these type of things. But at the end of the day, that's based on choices and you make. Cause see, the thing is, women, you know, there are women that choose certain men, but they're not good at choosing a good man. They're not. Even in relationships, they're not good at that.
They're not, and that's why you got to be on top of your stuff because it's like the chick coming to you who has had no father, who's had a bad relationship with her mother, who's had all kind of things wrong with her, but now she want to tell you how to do things. She want to tell you what kind of relationship. Want to tell you, nah, baby, you need to work on yourself first. You ain't in no position to tell nobody nothing, and that might sound harsh, but as men, we got to have highly developed senses that make us capable of seeing when somebody's coming with some old TV standard shit and it's not really who you are. Like this, you got this from a magazine. You know what I'm saying? This ain't real. This is just talk. This is your representative talking here. You have no idea how it is to be with a man in a healthy relationship because you've never seen it. You've only seen it on TV. That's not real. And not only that, that's not you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hear that a lot. I even had a session with a young lady just last night, and she was doing some stuff that she didn't even realize she was doing. Like she playing games with people, and her whole basis is just okay. But I'm this. No, you only what you work on. You know what I'm saying? You're only what you work on the hardest to become. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big thing, Brent, and you got to be able to spot them. You got to be able to spot them. That's a part of the whole skills that you got to develop. Spot them and be like, well, hold on. You want
this, that, and that. Like, you know, like that's one of the things I realized in my situations 10 years ago. I was like, hold on, you 28, 29 years old, and you never been in a relationship, a steady relationship with somebody? Like, what does that look like? Oh, it looks like what she was doing to me, a whole bunch of drama shit. And that's the reason why she was never in a relationship, because she was just used to screwing people and leaving, and it never lasted long. While I had been in several relationships that lasted, I knew how to be with somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to be able to call a spade and stop playing games with these women. So, right, you know, because they'll play the game. They'll tell you that they're ready for this. They tell you that, oh, I'm looking for a real man. You're looking for a real man? Like, have you ever seen one? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is a real man to you? Because what does a real man deserve? Because, okay, if you're looking for a real man, does he have standards? Is he, you know what I'm saying? Does he think, would he think that you're a real woman? Have you dated a real man before? Has a real man ever loved you? You know, so like, you gotta call a spade, because women do that to us all the time when we start talking all this sweet oobla woobla stuff about what we want. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna ask you what makes you deserving of it. That's the first thing they ask you. And of course, in many cases, they think it has to do with money. You know, but no, sir, that's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. So you just keep spotting it when you see it, bro. That's all you got to do. Keep spotting it when you see it, and don't get caught up. But anyways, guys, everything else, we're getting out of here, man. I appreciate y'all joining me. You know what I'm saying? If anybody is out there, hit me up on the Cash App. I am Nakada. Appreciate the love and the support. We got the Men's Wellness Club. We got coaching specials. I got a lot of stuff, man. I'm out here trying to serve my people, bro. I hope I can help you guys in any way that I can. You heard me? So y'all have a wonderful Sunday night, and I'm going to get up out of here.
All right, you too, man. Appreciate you for all the knowledge.
No problem, Xavier, man. You take it easy,
brother.
bro.
Thanks for everything, man.
No problem, bro. You too. Take it easy.